Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. You are now tuning in to episode 89 of the Off the Menu podcast. I am your friend, your host, Key, here with my brothers, my co-host, P.
What's good, y'all?
And Tay.
Hello, everyone.
And a special guest, a very special guest. I am happy to introduce to you Dajon Thompson, co-founder of Lovers SLC, father, brand owner, entrepreneur, go-getter, big stepper going crazy.
That's me.
That made me sit up straight. That was the best intro I've got ever.
He's the best.
We need to bring him to a lovers party.
Hey, shout out to you, man.
He can MC. For sure.
There, see?
Let me know, bro.
I'm gonna tell you right now, he did his thing on that. That made me want to sit up straight. I should have had a suit on for this interview.
That's so funny because we were talking about last week with we shot with Sean.
Yeah.
And then Moose was going in like he was going.
Moose did a good
That was
intro,
his best intro ever, but he missed like
He didn't
everything
introduce
else.
us. He didn't introduce any of us besides the guests. And Sean was like, "Hey, you could do what I wanted to do when I was like 20, which was a broadcast like analysis or like announcer." And Moose did a hell of a job.
Good, man. Shout out Moose one time, man. We miss you.
Nice.
Bro, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate you,
Pleasure.
man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this one's been a long time coming for sure. I know we say a lot about our guests though, but it's true though because we've been trying to get when we first started like doing this. You guys were doing your thing in the city. Everything was popping up, and then we were trying to figure out when we first started. We were trying to figure out how we'd be able to get guests and stuff.
Yeah,
and then he comes along, and we get him on. We get him part of the team and everything, and he's our outside. He's our outside boy.
He's definitely outside.
yeah. Always.
Yeah, I remember when he first talked to me about coming on the podcast, and I think I had BS'd a little bit.
Yeah, he was bullshit with me.
He goes, "Man, you're bullshit."
I'm pretty sure when we brought P onto the team, you were like one of the first dudes he mentioned to bring on.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
absolutely. We've developed a working relationship.
Yeah,
always
together. So. It's a pleasure, man. P's a good dude, man. He's a
P
really
goes
good
crazy,
dude.
man.
He's a ladies' man.
Hey,
he's a lover boy, man.
He is a lover boy. That's what I'm trying to. I've always talked to him, man. I know he's off the menu, but off the menu. What other hats do you wear?
More about
Glow
nothing.
Up League.
Glow Up League.
Yeah. So for me, I'm like here. I'll 1099 you. You know what I mean? Come be part of Lovers for maybe a week or two. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I definitely want to activate him and some of the stuff
him
we
on,
got.
man.
They want it.
We tell him.
want it,
He tells us all the time when people are like trying to put him on or like trying to get him part of the team. I'm like, go ahead, dude. Well, the whole point of us doing the podcast was to expand our community and then bring people
100%.
together, right?
Absolutely.
And if we can get everyone part of this community, we're gonna build something here in Utah that's gonna be very beautiful.
Oh, special. 100%. Definitely
I would love
special.
nothing more than for P to join you and you guys and what you guys do.
People of color too. On top of that,
Yeah, man.
absolutely.
you got the
He had,
Asians, the blacks, Latinos.
come on.
we gonna
That's perfect, man. And that's
going
something
crazy.
that, being honest, I envisioned when we first started Lovers is like to bring our people together.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of color or nationality, ethnicity, is to bring our people together. Before we started shooting on the camera, to go west of 215 when I was growing up, you knew you were stepping into a certain part of town.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But now that some of those tensions have came down and, we're all able to meet, this is special, man. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
For sure.
man.
It's like, I'll tell you, like back in the day, I don't know how old you guys are. I was born in 1980. I'm 43 years old.
Okay.
But,
You've seen it all.
I've seen it all.
Seen it all.
So, when you get that invitation to a house party in West Valley and you get that address, you had to make a decision.
Yeah.
And we all know what some of them decisions are. You never know what it was going to be.
Absolutely.
So to be able to come together now, especially in 2024, us meeting up,
Yeah.
and being able to collaborate, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
This is crazy. You're saying that you're 43. I did not believe you at all. I'm looking right at you. You do not look like over at least 28.
I appreciate that, man. I'm getting my flowers on this podcast today. I'm really
you don't
getting my
look 40,
flowers.
Dajon.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah,
You
man,
don't look 40.
I thank you guys.
Yeah, man. Keep
So
going. Hey, whatever you
40.
do, whatever regimen you're doing, man, send it to me. Keep doing what you're doing.
You know, it's a healthy diet of laughing, smiling.
Absolutely.
You know,
That'll do it.
this past year of doing lovers and doing stuff in the nightlife, I'm like, you know what? I got to get a skincare routine.
Yeah.
So I picked that up a little bit.
Okay.
You know, and for me, I'm trying to hydrate and drink water. I don't smoke cigs. I don't smoke a vape.
For you. Good for you.
You know what I mean? But you know, I see what y'all are doing. No shade to the vape. No shade to the vape. But yeah, man, I just try to enjoy life, man.
Yeah.
You know,
man.
and show love.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And then
As always, before I forget, we got IT technical support in the back. Sifu, you ain't going crazy.
I seen him getting ready to load it. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, he's ready.
Yeah, the fingers
Yeah,
are moving.
he's like- but we'll go ahead and get into the episode. We already did, but we're gonna start off the question. Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Dajon Thompson. I'm a co-founder of Lovers. We've started Lovers about 4 to 5 years ago. You know what I mean? And it was a passion project. And you know, with myself, I would like to call myself a event planner,
Yeah.
a curator.
Yeah.
I'm in talent acquisition at this point in time.
Yeah.
And you know, speaking about what it is that I do with Lovers, and speaking about what I guess we would say the cornerstone of what Lovers is like we talked about, community, bringing people together,
Yes.
putting it behind great music, being able to curate spaces, work with different people, regardless if it's DJs, artists, photographers,
Yeah.
people on podcasts. But it was to pretty much get people in the room in downtown Salt Lake City and work with different restaurant owners, bar owners.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, we've worked with pretty much almost every single, like I would say, bar or event space that we wanted to curate.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what's crazy is for Pearson's birthday, for Pete's birthday, funniest story, and it reminded me why, you know, our team started Lovers is, you know, we're trying to figure out a place for
Yep.
was it R and Bounce,
Arm bounce.
Yeah.
and you know, he and I were shooting texts back and forth. We're trying to figure out how are we gonna put this thing together and what place did we want to go to, and it was interesting. And so we figured out a place. I'm like, man, this will be a vibe. Let's go over here.
Yeah.
We go over on the Sunday. You know, my head's high.
Yeah.
Like Pearson's head's high. He's ready. We're ready to walk in. We got our whole speech ready. We go ask for who's the bar owner or the manager.
Oh
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You go ahead and tell your story, man. You go ahead and tell what happened in that.
I mean, Dajon was already, he had a drink. He was waiting for me. We pop in, and I don't want to say no names once again, but it was a bar on like State Street, that corner. We walk in, and apparently he was the manager. And we're like, hey, man, we've been emailing you guys about getting an event here. You know, like, I think we're not asking for any money. We want to bring some DJs, you know, have a set, curate a vibe. You know, he asked questions like, what music, how many people, blah, blah. This is your birthday. You're going to pay for it. I'm like, bro, we're going to bring you guys to pay for this at the end of the day. And he's like, we're already, Saturday, Friday, we're already busy. We're already packed. Like, I don't think we need any help from you. And in reality, it just, he kind of just like cold shouldered us, sent us an email with all the details. Dajon sends him an email. We never get a response. We walk out of that place like, bro, like, why are you being like this? Like, he didn't want to work with us at all.
No.
He's like,
What do you guys think the reason was, though?
Now that could be multiple.
yeah, it could be multiple things.
You know,
but
we
yeah.
can speculate. You know, for me, I'm not somebody that is gonna live in the past or
Of course.
do certain things, and that's why I brought up that story is, you know, gatekeeping in Salt Lake City, you know, is a real thing, and depending on who you are, what you look like, you know, they might not think our crowd is the crowd they want in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's, you know, that's what he looked like. He's like, well, why would you want to come in here?
Right.
Like, because we like the place. It looks nice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, well, you know, we'll see.
He kind of just shrugged us off.
He shrugged us off, and it was
crazy.
but it was an eye opener of, because that was the first time I with Lovers that we ever got shrugged off with trying to pitch a spot that we could go to, and we felt like we could bring our community into and introduce and curate the vibe, you know, behind music and good people, and like I think in his mind, or this person's mind, it was like, nah, your crowd probably isn't what we want in here.
Right.
You know,
That's interesting.
And he was one of the managers. He wasn't even owner, so he was just like,
Oh wow! So he didn't even take it up to anyone else.
Yeah, right.
but he's
That's
like,
what it
I'm the one.
sounds like.
But he was just like, I'm the one who handles those things, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Blah blah. So it's just like, okay, yeah, you just didn't even want to open the door for us at all
Yeah.
to speak
Right.
with anybody.
yeah,
We deal with that a lot here in Utah, and it's been over the last few years where we've finally been able to have the chance to start working with people,
yeah.
right, and businesses alike, right. We've been doing the clothing stuff for so long.
Yeah.
We've been turned down from pop-up places because
Absolutely.
they didn't like the crowd we have. But who's to assume what kind of crowd we have? No one's even seen what we've
Right.
done, and they just like to push people off. And it's sad to see that that's still a thing in some places because it's still Utah at the end of the day. There are still crowds there are certain people that still don't like certain crowds in this state,
Yeah.
And
there's
what they think it's associated to.
yes,
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was just weird because he was just like, he just made it sound like he didn't want our money, but I was like, I wasn't even necessarily offering you money, you know?
Yeah, he was like, "What do you guys want?" We're like, "We love your place.
Yeah.
We love to come bring our community here." He's like, "Well, what kind of music?" And like,
Yeah.
this guy totally couldn't understand anything that we were saying. He's like, "Yeah, we want to do something like with electro, house,
Yeah.
R&B.
Yeah.
Switch it up, cool vibe." He's like, "Well, what DJs?"
And he's like, I know a lot of DJs here too. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but he just made it sound like he was on such a higher pedestal than us.
Right,
for
right,
sure.
right.
Like we didn't do this before.
For sure.
And it was just like, I was like, okay, dude.
He thought y'all were amateurs.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
for
we,
sure.
Yeah, like we never
Yeah,
done
he-
this before.
He did me and P dirty, man.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But it was motivating because
Yeah,
your birthday
of
was
course.
your birthday's in November.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was during the winter, and it's one of those things. It's like, wow, that was a good learning experience.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
like, it was, like,
absolutely.
still trying to be optimistic about the whole thing, but it was a good learning
Yeah, yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where you go, yeah, this is why we've done Lovers, is to continue to bring awareness to whether it's the African American community
Yep.
or whatever community it is, we all need somebody to advocate or somebody that can basically kick down the door for us.
Of course.
So we can be
Absolutely.
seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the spot where you ended up with the room was amazing.
Oh, no, that was
Yeah.
vibe.
great
loved
vibe.
it.
Yeah.
It was
that was
awesome.
vibe.
We packed it out. The bartenders had super fun.
Oh, they got food there too.
Yeah,
that shit
it
was
was-
fire.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, we loved it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're just happy to see that it worked out.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then now you know what options there's. Now you still know what's out there because
Yeah.
that was the first time you guys shrugged off like that, and maybe that's a little more eye opening for you guys that this is still a place where we can have to work and do this.
Oh, for sure.
You guys have
Yeah.
to. You guys are really paving the way for the night scene to be like, yo, let's get everyone together because. We went to Leveling, which this is the first time I actually went to an event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than your birthday.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming out,
No,
man.
thank you for having it. You know, it was cool. Like Spaz was DJing. We just had her on the podcast.
Flair.
My cousin is actually Bo.
Yeah.
Me and him.
Now, see, that's where. So that's your cousin.
Yeah.
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 That is awesome.
Yeah. So
That's
that's where
dope.
I've grew up with him. I've seen him become the person he is today through the
shout out to
music and
Bo one
everything.
time,
So
man.
shout out to Bo York. And Flair, man, amazing guy.
Go
You
Yeah,
know,
crazy,
good
so,
dude,
too.
for real.
Yeah.
Good DJ as well.
yep.
Absolutely.
So I've had the chance to sit down with the DJs, and I was like, you know what, this is a perfect time for me to go out and check out the event and see how people are doing things.
Yeah.
And it was a fun event. Like it was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
It was the only thing was hot. It was really hot.
It was hot. It
Yeah.
felt like a desert.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
was
looked like
so
a
cold
desert
today,
outside.
dude.
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's
right?
that bipolar weather in Utah, man.
Bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, man, one thing about that story is, look, everything happens for a reason.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right? Everything
Yeah.
always happens for a
Yeah.
reason. We
Yeah.
want to work with like-minded people. We want
Absolutely.
people to want us as much as we want to be in
part
these
of it.
places.
Right,
Be a part of
100%.
these things. So,
Yeah.
man, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not even tripping. Like I said,
it's their loss, right?
it is what it is. And once
Yeah, and
again,
it turned out great.
we'll probably be back in that bitch anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow, some
In
way.
time.
Yeah.
It's always good to have awareness, though, you
Yeah.
know, and to understand that, sometimes that will happen.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be better things, greater things that will happen to you as long as you keep pushing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what's interesting about being a person of color, especially in Utah. Sometimes you're going to feel like whether it's career driven, whether it might be with sports, it might be with anything that you want to do creatively. One door closes, another door opens up.
Always.
You know what I mean? And
Always.
like trying to be optimistic about hope and having a chance in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of times, even with being the fourth year of Lovers, going into the fifth year, is I see a lot of people. I've met a lot of people through Lovers where it was about inspiration. It was about, you know, having a reason. 'Cause, you know, like nightlife, you know, and I've said this on another podcast I went on. Nightlife is a dark place sometimes. It is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people drinking, doing other things, whatever they're doing.
Right.
But, you know, when you wake up on that Sunday and Monday, or if you came home from an event, what did you take home from that event? Did
Right.
you, you know, what did you learn? Did your music IQ go up? Did you feel like you met people that inspired you? Did you
Right.
network? Did you know, maybe you met somebody that could give you a job? I don't know.
Absolutely.
But those are the rooms that I wanted to continue. And I think with Lovers as a team, we wanted to continue to make sure we have access to those type of events, even like how we're meeting today. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because like, you know, you never know. Like I could have been, like say right now I'm a 16-year-old kid. I want to do a podcast. I see a bunch of, you know, men and women of color on a podcast doing something cool.
Right.
That understand music, they understand style, they understand design. That's inspiration. Hey,
Absolutely.
how do like do you guys ever have people that want to be interns and hit y'all up? Like
Bro.
No,
honestly,
I have
This-
given a
this
lot
the
of
first
advice
one.
though. Yeah, honestly, he came on as an intern.
basically,
yeah, basically.
also, so P was an intern first.
Basically, we
He
said,
was the
well,
intern, man.
basically, when we first started the podcast, I said, hey, you guys think it's cool to have P come on
Mm-hmm.
as an intern? Well, obviously, we're not paying or anything. We're still not getting paid.
Yeah.
Right.
But let's give him an opportunity to see if he can fill in that fourth role we needed.
Yeah.
Because all of us, him as a family man, a businessman, an entrepreneur, he's just working, going.
Going crazy.
And then
Grinding.
if he's not,
Grinding.
he's with his
Yeah.
family,
Grinding,
and as he should, right? And then me, I'm with my wife over here. We are just trying to keep building any type of business we can. So we always have our foot in something. Like
Yes.
we're always there. The door's
Yep.
always open somewhere.
Yep.
And we were like, we didn't have, and then we have our other host, and he's more of an inside guy. He likes to be inside.
Designer.
He
Yeah.
likes to be with his wife, his dog, and just design.
Yeah.
In the dark, he's Batman. That's what he likes.
Okay,
that's what
I
he
like
calls
that.
himself.
I
So,
like that reference too.
yeah, and then P, he brought us something that we didn't have to the team. He brought a different dynamic that gave us
Absolutely.
opportunities with a lot of people that, you know, we've met through him because he's out there and he's hanging out with people, and he's really
doing a good
good.
job.
He's really good at what he does, though.
Absolutely.
He gives the opportunity to us by being the person he is and being open
Absolutely.
to who he is.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's like, it's, you know, with like that, the team, it's like you guys got a team here. You put him through a vetting process of hiring him and bringing
Yeah.
him on as an intern. But like, you know, there's everybody has their own individual roles when
Yeah.
you're
Absolutely.
on a team.
Yeah.
And when you
100%.
bring that together, you can make something special happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The wheels just move a lot easier.
You need
They
four.
do.
You need
They
four
just-
wheels to drive a car.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's absolutely.
That's how-
she's
and
the
she's
engine.
driving it.
She's the engine and driving
Yeah,
it.
she's
So
driving it.
she's the battery behind
Yeah,
this
she's
whole process.
CEO,
boss.
business,
Shout out
everything.
Seafood
You
one
know,
time, man. Going crazy, man.
she does everything that we. You know, a lot of times men can't. It doesn't seem
Men
like we can do
cannot
it.
multitask that well. We can't. Like I learned that the older I got. I'm like, wow, like
You have to hyper focus on one thing, bro.
She's really good at hyper focusing on things we need to get done. So
Yeah.
she'll prioritize what we need to get done and say, "Hey, we need to get
Absolutely.
this done." I'll be off in my own world. I'm a multitasker by the trait because I will be editing a video, but then finding people to have it for the next podcast, but then having reels ready. You know, I have
Going
my
crazy.
computer is about to blow up because I have
It is, bro.
10
It's
things
actually
running at
crazy.
the same time, and I'm playing games at the same time. And tabbing in, tabbing out, trying to get things going.
yeah.
It's true, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's like,
true.
but see, how does it feel to have a business that you started with your wife?
Amazing.
Oh, man.
I think right now what we've been doing this since 2017. She's known that she knew that I had a dream in like starting my own clothing brand.
Yeah.
I told her as a joke, I wanted to have a clothing brand one day, and this is where I want to be at. I gave her a name and everything. She goes, "Oh wow, that's really cool." And 7 years later, we started a brand, and I was like, I think we need to have you as the CEO of this because we won't get anything done without someone putting their foot down. Like, hey, we need designs. We need to get this done.
Right.
And I've grown to love her even more as a person because her individuality shines so much in the business, but also the team building. She's like in front of us being like, you guys need to do this together.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she's been able to pull us together, and this business wouldn't be a business without her.
Absolutely.
Oh, way to go.
100%,
Yeah.
man.
She does all
Yeah.
all the groundwork,
Yeah.
bro. All the-
Seafood's
all the-
going crazy out here, man. She literally keeps us.
And
right
what's
where
the
we need
name
to
of your clothing brand?
So we have More About Nothing. That's the clothing brand we started back in 2017. It was like 2016. Me and the other host, he had a brand, and I was just shadowing him. I was like seeing what he needs to do or how he can improve because that's what he asked me to do.
Yeah.
And then he approached me about starting a brand together. And at that time, I didn't think it was a good idea. I wasn't ready to work with other people because when you work as a team, you also lose your being creative in the team because you have to compromise with certain things, 100%. Right?
Absolutely.
And so I wasn't ready to work with anyone. And then I just saw that his brand wasn't growing or going in the direction that he wanted to. So I said, bro, let's come up with something together. I'll let you come up with a name. And then let's do designs and everything together. And then she was just there for everything else. She literally watched us grow it. And she's like, I think this can be something. And she won't do something unless she believes in it for real.
Right.
I like that.
100%. It has to be 100% of work before she actually believes that you can do it. And that's what the podcast, of everything we've done so far, she really believes in the dreams and the goals that we have. Nice. So that's why 100%. This has been able to work.
Nice. And so there's more about nothing.
More about nothing. And then I have my own brand, When Midnight Strikes.
Going crazy.
Tomorrow's a new day. That's it. And it's never promised though. And then the life we lived, the life that we grew up in, it really wasn't promised. Right.
Yeah.
And so I look at When Midnight Strikes as me being creative in my own space without having to worry about compromising with anyone else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then Boo Boo,
you know, we do off days as well. I have my own clothing brand called Off Days, and just piggybacking off what these fools were doing too.
Nice.
Just wanted my own brand.
And when did you start your brand?
I started Off Days in 2018.
Yeah,
18.
Officially 2019,
Yes.
my first drop.
Yeah.
You know, we've been taking a break. You know, I'm busy. I'm working on it.
Yeah, like you said, you're a family man, got everything going on. It's tough. Yeah, for sure.
You know, so. You know, Off Days is one of those things. It's just my playground, man.
Yeah.
It's my safe space.
Yes.
It's just where I create
for
whatever.
For your own mind and how you put it together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then we have another brand, Moose,
Moose.
The one that's not here today. His is Moose Woods. And that's also him. He wants to be a voice actor one day. He wants to draw cartoons. And so he uses his clothing brand as an outlet to get into that direction of stuff that we can't do for More About Nothing, but he can do for his own brand.
Yeah, because I saw... on the Spaz interview, you had the More About Nothing tee on.
Yes.
And that one, yeah. And see that, do you have any more of those ones?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We got
hard.
you. We got you.
I saw that. I was like, I like that. That was hard.
Yeah.
We got you, man. We got you.
And then we have one more, which is mine, which is in the works, man. I've been bullshitting me, right?
Like what's
I don't know in reality. So I want to make clothes, bro, but I'm in the same space where like I just want to create environments and spaces for people to gather. And enjoy music. And then if I can attach anything to that for it to be a memory or a memorial for you being there, like that's what I would want to do. So like create an event, nice thing. And then boom, I was there because I have this tee or I have this shirt or pants or whatever it may be.
Dope. That's cool.
Yeah. And all of us have different variations of how like streetwear and like how clothing looks. And so that's why it's been able to work because we're not stepping on each other's toes at the end of the day. We're working together and helping each other expand the brand because like I'll be the first to say like if anyone tells me about their brand, I'm going to tell them how to do their brand and how to get there going because that's the only way. Like when you get into the business of like not knowing things, it's hard for you to figure out if no one's there to help you. Right.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, I've helped every single one of us here. And I'll start their brand. I've helped P with the name, with his name. Yeah. I do a 2020 rule of how you come up with your own brand. And if you don't love what your 2020 rule is, start from scratch and go, do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We might have to go get coffee. I'd like to hear that 2020 rule. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, knowledge is key.
Honestly, it's a good rule of thumb to have because, like, I mean, when you're choosing a name like Lovers or Off Days, it got to mean something to you. You got to find the different ways to explain these things about your brand. And this 2020 really helps bring all these things to light.
And so, like, you had to go through the 2020,
and mine sucked. So
his was to the point where we look
redundant.
And also, when we're doing the brand stuff together, the brand stuff usually, if we're doing it together, it comes out of More About Nothing's money. So More About Nothing is the umbrella we created that funds everything we do, every little piece of this. And so if we're working off stuff, and I'm doing When Midnight Strikes, that's coming out for More About Nothing's funds, and then I have to put it back in and it has to create its own funds.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes. So if Harrison wanted to start his own brand, I need him to come up with designs. I need to come up with the name. I need to come up with what he wants to do. Yeah. We'll fund it. The money will come back. We know that. The money will always come back and make itself. Yeah. Right. We just need you to execute. Right. And so I can't do that part. Yeah. The team part is like we can execute More About Nothing, but when it comes to doing your own brand, we need everyone to execute what they want to do.
Yeah,
You gotta want it
and follow through with
badly.
It.
Yeah.
You gotta want it badly.
Yeah, because
right?
follow through is always interesting on
Yeah.
how that
Absolutely.
goes with some people. Because creators creators have that ADHD where
Yep.
it's like, hey, I want to do this and I want to do this and I
Absolutely.
want to do that, and it's like you can even see it with certain musicians or artists where it takes somebody like a Dr. Dre or a Pharrell or a Kanye to get somebody in the studio to basically say, all right, sit down. I'm going to give you the creative direction. You have the talent, but you're going to also have to have the follow through and keep going forward with it.
Man, and I like that you bring that up because, man, like doing the clothing brand stuff, it taught me a lot about follow through and just going through it.
That journey.
Yeah.
That journey, from A to Z.
Yeah.
Figure it out, get it down, and sell it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And starting a clothing brand and printing stuff and doing this and that and
And
the other.
the fear if people will like it or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, it'll teach you all of those things.
Yeah.
Right.
And
From
getting
A to
over
Z,
some of those
getting
humps.
over it,
Yeah.
right? And because the biggest enemy in your mind is you.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to creativity and designing.
Yes.
Right. So it takes a minute to kind of get over.
Yeah, we do lose a lot of great creatives because of their mind.
Absolutely.
And I've seen a lot of people that can, I'd be like, why aren't you guys in a museum? Or why aren't you doing this kind of
Right.
artwork? Like, you are amazing.
Yeah.
They're just too scared of how other people think, and then they lose who they are because of that.
Right.
Yep.
And then they lose the art. So it's a scary space. It's a scary space to be in
Well,
especially when
like
you're fighting with yourself.
For you guys, like as far as creators and people that do, clothing out here in Utah, who are some people that you guys respect?
Man, there's a lot of them. There's a lot
Here
of
specifically in
Yeah.
Utah.
Yes.
Man.
There's a lot of heavy hitters. As of recently, with the years, we've been doing since 2017, but in the last 4 years since COVID, there's been an influx of great creatives that
Absolutely.
were just in the lab.
Well, who's somebody that jumped out on you that
Let's
had
see.
the talent where you
Come on,
like,
bro.
whoa,
Ni-
okay.
Nimbus,
Nimbus
is going
right
crazy.
now.
See, I was gonna say Nimbus.
Okay.
Nimbus right now,
Nimbus
those are
going
my-
crazy.
Those are my
Comey.
boys.
Comey.
just
Insane.
Gabby. What are you doing out there that you're standing out so
Saturdays.
much?
Yeah.
And see, we didn't even get to
Get
be
to
at the
meet
event,
Saturday,
but we go to all the pop-ups too. Like Hoodlum, like everyone's in their own lane. Like we have a homeboy here, Omar. What he's doing and his story that he's sharing with people, and like what he's doing with his designs is like it's literally him on a t-shirt, and that's how he's like showing people. It's like, I'm just some goofy kid that almost died, and I'm here
Right.
just having fun.
Yeah.
And
To take it
fucking love
way
that kid.
way back though, home runners.
Home runners, man.
Home runners.
They
man.
had
Whole
this-
business.
They had
Home
that,
runners.
Yeah,
they had the city like this.
Avenues.
Avenues.
Avenues PC.
So hold on real quick. Hold on. See, we getting ready to pod right now because you guys can give me a history lesson. So with home runners, is that family to you guys as well?
Greg,
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
all those guys.
So Greg's
Greg,
family.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Greg is basically family. Then it was Andrew and Johnny.
It's like Bo and Bobby are a part of
Yeah.
Bobby, yeah, they were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Home
they
Bobby
also-
nasty too.
Bobby, yeah,
Bobby was
see?
doing most of that.
I'm gonna tell you, like, it's so interesting because, like, I remember when Home Runners. When did they first come out? 2017.
2016. 16.
Oh, 16. I thought it was 13. I'm
And,
sorry.
No, 16 is when they started, because that's when the city was like, they had everyone on a chokehold.
Bro,
Everyone is at
the
an
hats,
event.
the shirts,
everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, that was so cold to me.
Oh my goodness.
That was
City on
dope.
lock, bro.
They were like-
and I talked to Greg. It might have been a year and a half ago, and I'm like, man, y'all are nice. Like
Bro.
you need to come back in the game.
Yes, absolutely.
Like you need to come back in the game. And he's like, yeah, like I think he's gonna do it. I don't know, but like
I talked to him like 3 months ago, and I was like, bro, when you guys bring home runs back, because like that's still like a fan favorite. Like
Yeah,
the
bro.
community.
No, for real.
City loves that.
When you see when you talk about community and there's a time frame of like stuff, home runners every weekend, there was something going on. We're
Because of
both
that.
spinning.
And see those guys really, in a lot of ways, they kicked that whole movement off.
Yeah.
Oh my
No, for
goodness.
sure. Yeah,
I truly
between
believe that
home
too.
runners, Concise,
Yeah.
they were
Concise
doing their
could- yeah,
things,
bro.
and
Yeah.
the designs that were coming out at the
Oh
time.
my goodness.
And like I remember, it reminded me stuff like you would see in L.A. or New York. When they were
Exactly.
doing this stuff.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were bringing the vibes here, though, of
They
everything
were.
that was going on. Because,
Yeah.
like, I wasn't really popping up to clothing pop-ups because nobody was really putting their stuff out there like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I started going to the home runners events, and I was like, bro, we need to have pop-ups like this.
my
We need to have like
goodness.
DJs. We need to have food. We need to have people having fun.
Home runners opened my eyes
Yeah.
to like, goddamn, like this is tangible. Like we can do this.
We can do this,
Goddamn,
yeah.
like we
Yeah.
definitely can do this.
Yeah.
You know.
And they were so early in
Oh
the
my
game.
Bro,
goodness. Like,
they
So early in the game.
like just kind of going back to, I mean, in that same realm with Home Runners, Avenues PC, there's also Drux.
Yeah,
Drux.
Drux was going crazy as well, and they were very early on.
Who was it? Lexicon? Like Lexicon came at the same time as us, and they were literally around the same time. Remember, we had them on our first pop up.
Brian, Ryan, Ryan.
They were at our first pop up we held at Dallas at Sugar House. We threw the first sneaker event in Utah.
Utah sneaker.
Yeah, and then so they were there at our first one, and then
so this is like SneakerCon before SneakerCon.
Yes.
And how did that go?
So I know the owner of Dallas, Jay, great man. He's a businessman. So Kaiser, he's just. I used to work at Dallas when they first opened up in the downtown location. I was there once a week. My cousin was running the store, and I just built a relationship with him. And then I was going to every clothing store, and be like, yo, how do we get our brand in your store? What do you guys want from a brand that's coming up and from the city?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I actually sat down with a lot of owners in Utah, and they were saying, we don't usually take brands that people don't know because it's hard to sell.
Right.
And so you guys would have to do it and create your own wave. And because of that, we created our own wave, made our own movement. We had our fans, we had our supporters, and Kaiser saw that and he was like, let's utilize what you guys have and let's put an event together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, it was a great turnout.
Yes.
It was really good.
Yeah. And
there was a lot of people there.
I don't think we had to really do much except promote it, make the posters, get everyone there, and then he handled pretty much anything that we didn't know.
Yeah.
And then he taught us a lot through the event.
Absolutely.
That's cool. That's cool. And then with you guys bringing the very first sneaker event out here, was that one of the things where you guys, was it on your brain to be like, here, I want to keep hosting these type of events?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In,
it was
in our own way though, right? Not anything that revolves around sneakers so much, but just around what we're doing.
And if anything, it helped because when he was getting ready to do his first big event, $1 and a Dream in 2019, he had the back experience from the sneaker events.
So crazy.
Yeah.
And it definitely helped you gather everyone.
That's
you had performers and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Nimbus, those are my guys.
Yeah.
Before they even started making clothes.
Yeah, because they were reselling.
They were just reselling.
Yeah, they were just reselling clothes,
they were big on Bape and Supreme and shoes and all these things, right? Well, they approached me and they're like, yo, we want to throw an event called $1 and a Dream. We would love your help and facilitating all these things.
Yeah.
I actually made our very first design for both Off Days and Nimbus. That shit was not the best.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve, right?
So do you go back and look at some of your designs and go, what was I doing? Yeah.
Oh man, all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what were we thinking?
Specifically for $1 and a Dream.
Yeah.
That event was, wow. I still get chills thinking about how crazy this event was. We had everything from music artists to a bunch of vendors from all, resellers, vintage, even people who aren't even doing anything in clothes at all, selling rocks or whatever the fucking. We had art exhibits, museum. We had a Super Smash Bros. Tournament, and this was, for us, it was really big. We did not expect it to be this big. Yeah, we had everybody there.
That's
cool.
It
was a great experience learning. That's when I was like, okay, I want to do this. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, you I'm 10 toes down now.
This is crazy. We got to keep going at this.
Yeah.
And we did for the longest time. We were going fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. Nimbus is evolved. Shout out to my guys, man. They go so crazy now.
They're going crazy.
Yeah.
From the first variations of the shirts and things we're doing to now, they're cutting sew items and all these things. Man. So happy for those.
Yeah,
people,
they are going crazy.
They go so
even
crazy.
the shorts they just dropped.
Those shorts.
Ago. Yeah,
absolutely.
Did you get a pair?
Of course.
Yeah.
I hit up Vic on the DM. I'm like, hey man, you got those in the 34? Hey, I'll Venmo you right now.
Right now.
Yeah, he's still looking in the storage right now. Vic, if you got them, hit me up, please. Those were nasty.
He's adding
and the details he had on those shorts is what made them even harder.
They go so crazy with it. The way that they're doing things now is a way that we all want to get to. Anyone who owns a brand, anyone who's doing anything crazy,
so there's some inspiration in seeing what they're doing over there.
We all bounce off of each other like that.
Every time I go to a pop-up or go to an event, I come back to the house. I'm like, yo, we need to change some stuff up. We need to, we really need to get out there and really do this because you can be a t-shirt brand and start, but when you start going, you can't just be a t-shirt brand. You have to be doing something else. And what everyone else is doing here in Utah is amazing. From Macombie's recent drop with the football jersey to, with the jorts to OM's doing with their stuff. He's doing camping stuff. He's doing everything. Organized movement. Mo is just doing.
Mo's a good dude, man. He's a good dude too. I met him. See, like I said, with Lovers, man, I met so many cool people, man, through doing this, and I think it's in due time, we're all going to work together on one event.
Yeah,
and make this thing go crazy.
Yeah, we're trying to plot
man.
something like that crazy.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, like we got to figure out like the number one thing I've learned with doing Lovers is like get in that calendar, stick to the date.
Yes.
Especially if it's going to be an event. Try to pick a date where the weather's going to, hopefully work in your favor.
Yeah.
It's not going to be too busy. Hopefully it's not like a University of Utah football game. Or
Yes.
Like, because, trying to do an event in like July, to me, it's too damn hot.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
plan around things.
July
You
and
gotta
August
you
are
gotta
just,
plan around it.
It's too hot.
End of
Right.
August would be
Yeah,
good.
so it's just figuring out those good dates, and like you were talking about it on the podcast with Spaz. It's like events have to be like sometimes worked into like a holiday sometimes here.
Yeah.
But figuring out what holiday that could possibly be, and you launch something off that could be special.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. And man, enough about us, bro.
This is like I told you, we was gonna have a conversation.
No, man. I gotta know about love. I want you to explain, because I feel like you guys are hosting events, you're bringing communities together. But I also seen you guys are doing clothes and dropping some.
Well,
some shit.
so like
Love
we
language,
like
man.
when it came to like some of the stuff that we dropped, they were just like kind of like what Parison was talking about, something that you could take home at an event. It's like
Right.
a collectible item. We did some T-shirts. We did some shorts,
Hoodies.
some hoodies.
Okay. That's
but-
hard, by the way. I think I seen them on the.
Yeah, love language.
The Lovers SLC goes crazy.
This song reminds me of you.
Yeah. So
Shit, yeah.
we've done like, just like a little collectible items like that will remind you of the event that you went to.
Of course.
Getting into the design game and really trying to kick off the clothing side. As you guys know, that is a whole nother animal.
A whole nother
Yep.
thing.
You know what I mean? And like,
Right.
the Lovers clothing division, I don't even know when that's opening up. Like, I wouldn't be the head of that. But I mean, maybe
Right.
that could possibly be an umbrella, but that's something where, we just try to have some of those collectible things that you can take home.
Absolutely.
Those small items that kind of remind you of the night or of the event or the space that you were in. You know what I mean? So like when we did Love Language at HK Brewery, which that was a beautiful place. Just by the way the design, the interior design of that place was awesome.
Crazy.
So
Yeah.
it was like that's the other thing too, is like if we could have had a calendar built out to maybe launch like a HK Brewery Love Language T-shirt, that would have been something that would have been dope.
Crazy. Yeah.
But time goes so fast now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes fast, and it's like
Yeah.
like Spaz and I will be working on certain things in the backdrop and trying to figure out things, and we're like, well, maybe we do it this week where's your calendar going to be? Because she has to do multiple events, so
Yeah.
it's kind of
She
hard.
busy too.
She's busy,
Right,
and and so am I, and even with Enzo, who's another part of Lovers, my cousin Trey, who's another part of Lovers,
Yeah.
my son Jalen, who's another
Which
part
is
of,
dope, by the
Yeah.
way. I was watching that Fox 13 interview with
Yeah,
with-
so
with
it's
you
like
and your
it's
son.
so hard to like
Yeah.
get everybody to sit down and focus and try to do special things. But we've been at it for about 4 years now, and it's been good, man. It's been beautiful.
Man, if you need help on the clothing side,
Oh no, I'm
know
gonna
where to
tell
go.
now.
That's exactly what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
you know where to
Here's
go.
the thing. I didn't even know I was sitting down with like clothing,
Yeah.
specialist in here right now. So I'm definitely gonna tap in with y'all,
Bro, please.
And if I got to do the 20 rule, you let me know.
Hey, the 2020 rule only applies to someone that doesn't have a brand. You
Right.
guys have a brand. You guys have
got
identity.
something going. You
Yeah.
guys got something
Yeah, for
So
going
sure.
right now.
we can discuss the other 2020 part of it, but you guys have the name down
Right.
and you guys have the community that goes with it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
sure.
you guys have something special
Yeah.
that in the city, and that you
Absolutely.
guys not even just in the city. I think that you guys could take around the world.
Yeah, and that's where even when we did with Spaz, when we went to Tucson for Love Language, which was a fun experience because my family went out there, a lot of her friends went out there, and we hung out in Tucson for 2 days, and it was like and that's a lot of things that I kind of work with Spaz is trying to get her into different venues and different places outside of Utah. You know what I mean, and continue to Spaz she has her own sound.
Right.
And with Lovers, our thing was it was behind music. We wanted to put people in the room that understood music. That was one of the mission statements.
And I feel like you guys portray that very well.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I'm top 40 DJs. I'm good on all that.
Right.
I'm not about that. That's why Bo being your cousin, I'm a huge fan of Bo.
One of the best out here.
No, he is one of the best.
One of the best out here.
And you know what was crazy is Last Love Language. Hearing him play, I'm like, this dude is insanely nice.
He's the only one who actually scratches.
Still scratches.
Oh, he
Scratches,
I
bro.
wish I could go back.
There's not many DJs that be
I
scratching.
wish I
bro.
could go back to the first time I heard Bo. I remember I was like, God damn.
I can tell you the first time I heard Bo, I'm like, there's no way this dude lives here.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because it's
Right.
like, you know, with music in Utah, if you think about, we'll go clubs and then we'll break it down to bars. And then now Lovers and a lot of these different other businesses have popped up now.
Yeah.
Which we would consider events. So it would go club, bar, events.
Yeah.
And events you can actually curate sound.
Yep.
Yes.
Club, you're playing for the masses,
Right.
and people that want to get drunk and black out.
Right.
No shade to that. Like I've had my fair share of fun nights,
Right.
but they're not paying attention to the music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're there
They're
for
not-
the time.
They're there for the time.
Right.
It's such and such birthday. You know, or this artist or concert came out here. They're going out for that, and so you know you're gonna hear anything from. Let's go with the top 5 most annoying songs that are out right now. Go ahead, you got one?
You said no annoying? I wouldn't say annoying, but Not Like Us is on there.
Not like
Oh
this
my
damn-
God, they play, that comes on now. Oh my
But,
goodness gracious, that got played out that
Yeah.
quick.
Quick.
That's
Quick.
crazy how a
Quick
song
with
gets
it.
played out
I
that
don't
quick.
think it's
now.
annoying. Don't get me wrong, but how much they played is annoying.
Yeah.
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 That is an issue of music, though, and that's why I don't listen to the radio and stuff, because you constantly have to hear the same stuff over and over, and that goes for you being in the DJ scene.
Yeah.
You know, you got to play stuff that people want to hear, because even
Yes.
Spaz talked about it. She goes, that's probably like my most requested song on here. You know, every
Yeah,
time
I've
I'm
heard her say
playing.
that.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and it's
Absolutely.
and sometimes you just got to be like, all right, I got to give to the crowd because that's that's who's listening to the music.
Yeah.
Rich
But as a
Baby
DJ,
Daddy's
I'm
there
pretty
too.
sure most of the time they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I
they
mean
don't, yeah.
that's why, like, you know, when you go to like some of these songs that would be out now, I don't know, it might be no shade to anybody that listens to Taylor Swift. What's another one? You know what I mean?
Are they playing $1 Million Baby in the club?
Yeah.
They are?
I like that song though.
I like that song too. I just
Yeah,
wanted
but
to know.
that's another one. They melted that all the way down to
did.
the ground.
They
for
did.
sure.
They
They,
did.
they,
I like
they
that
took
song.
the currency out that song. They
Yeah.
melted it all the way down.
Yes.
But you know, for me, I have a certain ear for music that I love music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, when we talk about lovers, it was, you know, for the love of music, the love of community, love of culture, the love of people, love of, you know, Salt Lake City,
Absolutely.
and putting people in the room. But it was like I wanted to hear DJs that had a sound to them, and so
And
I-
Bo definitely has
That's a
it.
sound.
Bo's
Bo
that guy.
has that. Bo has that sound.
No, he has
Bo has a
he has
specific
his own
sound.
distinct sound.
Bo has played some shit that I fucking listen to every day and took it to like next level.
Yeah.
Just put the bow on it.
And see
You know?
where Bo, see, this is when we talk about sound. Like I said, so club, you're gonna have to play certain club records.
Yep.
Yeah.
No shade. But then when you get into like that bar, like, you know, when Bo would be at an Alibi on a Friday,
Yes.
and he's gonna take you on a musical journey
Oh,
between
man.
Neptunes. He's gonna hit you with some 80s, like
Yes.
80s funk.
Yeah.
He's gonna hit you with some good 90s
Yep.
hardcore rap that where you're like, I gotta get another drink, man.
Yes.
We about to kick it in here tonight. Like this is for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
For
and like,
sure.
you know, and some of the people, like the thing that I always loved about a good Bo set, especially at Alibi, was the people that didn't know just went and sat in the back by the bar. Don't come to the front because you
Right.
don't know this music. This ain't for you.
Yes.
So like for me, like a good Bo set, you couldn't even like that. Like there was nothing that could compare to that at the time.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know, and still to
absolutely.
this day.
In
So
those moments,
that's why I'm a huge fan of Bo.
Yes.
Because it was like that's where you started to see. That's why we have Lover Sound Design, which is a different umbrella. But it was like we wanted to start being able to record certain DJ sets
Yes.
to show their bandwidth, essentially, like how they could play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure you guys see those all over YouTube
Yes,
now. Like
for
there's
sure,
different
yeah.
divisions, like, you know, Selection, shout out to them. You know, there's Social Supply. There's a bunch of people in Virginia.
Yep.
Their stuff's hard.
Yeah.
And it kind of wakes you up to different sounds all over the country
Yes,
now. There's some nasty DJs now.
Yes, there is.
COVID created some of the coldest DJs out here right
Absolutely.
now.
That's what I'm saying. Though
Bro,
COVID did a lot of stuff to people.
Yeah.
There was something in the water, not just COVID, but there was something in the water. That people were creative, started coming out.
Yes.
Like social media was popping off again. Like people on YouTube, entertainment.
Yeah.
Everything got a little bit better after COVID.
Yeah, it elevated.
Yeah, and it was like, man, where was this before?
Yeah.
Because I think for a while, like during the 2010s, like things kind of got stagnant, and so people were just like sticking to what they
It's
knew.
just stale.
Yeah.
And
It was
then
just
the same
COVID
shit.
came. They're like,
Right.
fuck, what can we do? We can't do the same thing over again. And then now we got amazing everything.
Yeah, with COVID, I think it was one of those things where people had the time because they couldn't do
Yes.
anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, why wasn't I doing this before?
Yeah.
Maybe, and that's how Lovers popped off. It was one of those things where previous to COVID, there would be like events. The only people that were throwing events, like we said, were home runners.
Yeah.
That you could go to and catch a vibe, and that's Bo, Concise. They were all doing their thing, and outside of that, it was like, well, where would I go if I wanted to? If I'm, we'll just say,
very
if I'm
true.
single, where do I go where I could even go catch a vibe?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you can go to the club, but what you gonna get at the club?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's
Dropping
like,
cash.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think
Listen to
about
some
that, bro.
mid-music.
Because when I was going out before COVID, like we go to like the generic clubs,
Yeah.
Twist.
What club was it?
fucking
Twist,
Button Down, fucking.
Sky.
I didn't even like Sky, but like,
Yeah.
what was that place that was under FedEx, whatever?
oh yeah,
What's it called again?
I know
Bourbon
House, yeah.
Bourbon, something like that. There wasn't like shit, people posting shit about like events or like DJs here, or like
Yeah.
there's gonna be this person here, and then now after COVID, bro, it's fucking
City's live.
bro. International's
There's
got
something
3
going on all the
DJs,
time.
Alibi's
Yeah.
got 2 DJs, fucking Twist got a they just got
Right.
like
They had to work with what they
Yeah.
got because COVID created a space where like now nobody even wants to be around each other because of that, right? Because
Yeah.
COVID. But then how are businesses going to thrive again
Right.
if they
No
couldn't
big
get
artists
people
were
out, right?
coming. They
So
were- they
let's
were
get
outside.
the hottest DJs out. Let's get people
Yeah.
coming out. And now this
Dude.
past weekend there were like
Dude.
30 events going
Dang,
on.
I
I'm
was
like,
so
what?
sick.
Every DJ we knew was at an event
Yeah.
doing something,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. It
was
the
dope.
fashion show, or like
Yeah.
there was stuff going on.
there was stuff going on all weekend,
Bro.
yeah, and Father's
for the
Day
past
weekend
4
too.
weekends,
Yeah.
Great,
Happy
yeah.
Father's Day to you.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Yes,
Seriously,
brother,
thank
yes.
you. Happy
Happy
Father's
Father's
Day
Day,
to
bro.
y'all.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so
Yeah, for
much.
sure.
Thank you, man.
Because it's like that's the thing is like Utah 10 years ago, you weren't gonna get any type of event where you felt like it spoke to you.
Yeah.
You might get a concert,
yeah.
you know what I mean. But as far as an event where you would get to really see the people that could embrace that moment the same way you could, you weren't gonna get that before.
We were doing that inside the house. In the
Right, that's
basement.
house party. That's
We were
house
doing
party.
it at the house. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
That's I feel like that's like before COVID. That's what all we
That
were
was the biggest thing.
We were
I
in
had a house
house
party,
all the time.
3-day benders, 4-day
Yeah.
benders.
Yeah.
Karaoke.
doing. We were inside the house.
Yeah,
But see,
When-
that's dope that you guys were doing that too, because it's
Yeah.
like like that type of energy is organic to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the good organic energy, the house party, the cookout, the barbecue,
Yes.
the vibes. You know what I mean? Like that's essentially what Lovers was built off of.
Yeah.
And like, hey, let's
Yep.
get an organic sound.
Yes.
And that's how I met Spazzes through COVID. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like during COVID, it was like probably 5 or 6 months before our first party, and we just tapped in over Instagram.
Yeah.
And then, continue to talk. Hey, we should work together. And then by that next year, we had signed her as like one of because we have probably like 3-4 different DJs inside of the Lovers team. But, we signed her on, and it was one of those things. It was to the moon. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we've been working together
Absolutely.
ever since.
Yeah.
We both came into the game together, which is crazy.
And honestly, those are the best relationships.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
how you curate and really fuck with people like
Yes.
that.
Organically.
Organic.
Yeah. Nobody's trying to leverage one another.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because like in business, it can get
ugly.
It can get ugly
Yeah,
quick. You know what I mean? And so
absolutely.
like with our team, everybody's been able to take whatever they're doing, either in their career or whatever they wanted to do creatively,
Yeah.
and do what they want to do. Like even with my son, like Jalen, he has his brand of Lovers is Midnight,
Midnight,
and that's for the youth. You know what I
Hard.
mean? Like
Hard.
That OPM shit, bro. That
yeah,
fucking-
they heavy
Vamp
on that
season
Cardi.
shit.
Yeah, Destroy Lonely.
Yeah.
And that's their thing. That's
Yeah.
that sound. And it's like for me, being 43 years old,
Yes.
and I had like what's crazy about getting older is you have to learn how to like fine tune your ear to understand new sound.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and we're seeing it change. now that they got Drake out of here, Kendrick got Drake.
Oh my gosh,
You got him out.
Drake ain't leaving. Drake ain't leaving.
But no, I'm telling you like that, like Drake, and we can have this conversation on here, but Kendrick pretty much went in and like just like pretty much Javante Davis.
Frank Martin him?
Oh yeah, just did him dirty.
Yeah.
Or anything like because I would ask y'all, do you feel like Drake has a classic album?
No.
Wow, that's crazy.
But we've had this discussion though.
I do.
You do now.
Okay, which one?
Absolutely.
You do now.
Nothing was the same.
Nothing was the
Come on,
same.
man.
It's and there's 3 for me, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, goodness.
Fucking Take Care.
Of course. Take Care, of course.
Nothing was the same. And Views. Those are timeless, bro.
But you graduated, like, see that you
That's
can't,
timeless.
you graduated.
And
yeah, and
course.
see, and I get that.
Yeah, but it's timeless
No.
to me. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The age gap does
Yeah.
come into play because
Yeah.
the only time I listen to Drake is when
Rich
you guys
Baby,
come
Rich
over.
Baby Daddy plays.
When they come over and they're playing Drake,
Yeah.
But my music is also like I listen to K-pop like 24/7, so I'm in like that. But if I'm not listening to K-pop, I'm listening to like R&B from 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, and
Yes,
that's okay.
that's
Kevin
your pocket.
Campbell every day,
Yeah.
something like that. Or
Yes.
Yeah.
my favorite is Kanye West, so I'm always listening to Graduation or like all the stuff from back in
Going
the day.
crazy.
Even Yeezus, I love Yeezus so
Going
much.
crazy.
And
Jesus
so
was hard though.
yeah, he brought the electric sound. He did all that crazy
Way ahead
stuff,
of his
dude.
time.
Still,
bro.
still waiting for a DJ to get that off of the set right now. Still waiting.
I'm
Real.
Blood on the Leaves. If someone played that
Bro.
shit,
Come on.
Spaz, you got it. You can get the club
Get-
jumping. You can
get
get
that
whatever
off.
you jump in.
I hated
Yeah.
that album when I first listened to it. And I went back
Everyone
and,
did though.
I went back and I was like, dude, Kanye, what
Yeah,
the
if you go
fuck?
back, I went back and listened to Yeezus probably 3 months ago.
Shit's insane.
Those records right now would go crazy.
Bro.
Yeah.
Like that
It's
like
ahead
I'm
of
saying
its
they would
time.
go they were
Yeah.
ahead of its time.
ahead of
They would
its
go
time.
crazy right
I
now.
tried to convince her to walk out. So when we did our wedding, I was choosing my walkout song. I said, "Can I walk out the Black Skinheads?" And she's like,
Oh,
"What
that's
are you
hard.
talking about? No, you're not walking." And I was like, "Come on,
that
you don't hear
song
the
is
drums?
crazy.
The drums playing, and then and she's like, "Whoa, this is kind of crazy." But no,
But see that's why it's so cool to have these conversations because I'm like, where are the people that know this type of music?
Right.
You know what I mean? That
We here.
they're here.
Yeah,
They're here.
but it's in small pockets.
Yes, it is.
It's in
and,
small
and that's
pockets,
why I'm so
absolutely.
thankful that you came out to a love language because it's like we need more people like yourself and like yourself that are like, here, I'll come. Even though, I'm not saying y'all are introverted, but maybe you're like, here, I'll come out for an hour.
Yeah.
You get a section, you listen to your music, you vibe out, you're with your people, you get home, you go home.
Yeah.
After.
Right.
And that's what you guys offer, though.
Yeah,
That's what's
absolutely.
beautiful about it because it's not a forced thing. When I went to love language, like you go to a club or a bar, you feel forced to have to be there.
Well,
with your
why
friends.
is that for people that don't?
and it's
That's what I want to know.
from
Like,
intro-
'cause that is a real thing. I'm like, I'm getting old too now. I'm like, man, I'm standing around in this thing. It's hot.
I'm tired.
And, it's just, sometimes that's what your friends are doing, or sometimes something's
Yeah.
going on. It's always happening somewhere where you don't want to be, but you have to be there for them.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And like I have friends that go to London Bell every weekend, and they know not to invite me because it's the same
Yeah.
thing every weekend.
They
2 days
do.
a week, 3 days a week, and no bash to them. They're still young. They get it. They can
Yeah.
be there, but you're not gonna catch me. I'm 31, so I'm getting up there to the point where like I just want to be at home. I'd rather be on my computer editing. But
Yeah.
if you do something like a love language, I'm not forced to be there. I chose to be there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's something that I want to go hear these DJs not be at a club or
Right.
be at a bar because that's different music. How we're talking about the tiers and like what they're doing. Them at a love language, like what you guys are throwing, that's them being them.
Yes.
At their
Right.
It's
full
authentic.
full talent,
It's a nice thing because, like I said, compared to bars and clubs, like when you do these events, you don't have like how do I say this? Music is great on top of that, but you're able to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when, like we talked about
Yeah,
networking.
it's easy to have a conversation with not it being dark as hell, loud music blaring, and hey, like it's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like
I believe that too.
intimacy is. I think it's something that is lost in a sense because we have the internet and you can just look through all these things.
No, you're right. It gets watered down when you're in
Yeah.
the club. When
And it's
you're-
just like,
when you're in
fuck.
some certain spots here.
I just
in
want some
Utah.
genuine,
Also, some people when they're going to the club and they're like getting that kind of stuff, like people are like, hey, they're like, I'm not here for that. And they're also not there for the same reasons.
yeah.
They're not trying to be like that.
not here to network at the
when people
club.
are in the club, that's what they think everyone's trying to do.
Yeah.
So when you go
Club
to
culture is just different.
Yeah, it is.
You know what
I
I'm
bet,
saying?
man.
Yeah.
You're telling me, G.
Fuck paying for a
I be
table, looking rich, and
Yeah.
doing the whole bottle service.
Yeah, putting on the whole show.
Doing all that. It's
Yeah.
fun for a birthday and shit.
Yeah, yeah, flex for
once in a
one,
while,
yeah.
we'll do that. But man, that's not me.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
It's
you know?
not me. Me kicking it, vibing in a little spot, listening to some great music, kicking around great people, meeting good people.
Yes.
Like that's where I want to be at.
Right.
You know,
right. And you can take something home with that.
Exactly.
You know, at the end of the day.
You know,
that's why, like, I always say it's like going to an event, and this is where like curation at a high level, you know, because I heard you said you've been to selection shows. And you've traveled. You had to travel to those, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which ones did you go to?
We went to one in Vegas, Andre Power.
Nice.
Yep.
And then
Coachella. Who was that Coachella though? Selection. They did Coachella 2 years ago.
Yeah, and then we also went to what was it? Complex Con. Soul Election had a booth there, and they had DJs there all day. So there was a DJ on stage, and then they had their clothing right next to it, and they had like crazy like decorations for selection stuff. Like they had this like beanbag right in the middle, so people can lay down. It's right next to the stage, so people can listen to music, but don't have to be there listening to music. So also they're creating experiences and a vibe, right?
Yes.
So when I went to the Andre Power one too, it's like it didn't feel like a club event. I chose to go there for that DJ, and they did what they were supposed to do, and I loved it, and I left happy.
Right. And I think that's for us where we're trying to get to in the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, like vision wise, is did Lovers allow you to decompress?
Yes.
And enjoy and be able to feel like you learned something, you took something home, and it didn't raise the anxiety. It kind of minused out the anxiety to where you felt free.
Honestly, I love that.
Relax.
I love that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like thinking about booking a table at Sky, I'm like, fuck.
Everybody does that. It's like how many shots we having before we go up in
and like I mean, like we all got besides P, like I got a wife, I got kids at home. I'm just trying to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Go home safe.
Go home safe.
Get
number
home
one.
Safe.
And then get back to the job that you got to do.
Exactly.
Monday through Sunday.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
sure.
Go to Sky.
Because people that have to grind and wake up and have responsibilities and like all the things that all of you are working on.
Yeah.
That takes focus.
Yes.
And it takes dedication. So to have that maybe 1 or 2 events that you get to go to like quarterly or seasonally, where you just go, hey, I got to relax a little bit, but now I can get back to the grind.
Exactly.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
not fucking hungover for 3 days straight, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
broke for a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's how it feels sometimes. I come out of Sky, I'm like, fuck, man. I just bought all my girlfriend's drinks. Like, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
And you get that tab.
Like,
You get the tab. It's like, whoa.
It's like, God damn.
Yeah. Get the toast receipt through the text message. You're like, gosh, damn, I bought that many shots. Yeah.
It be like that, man.
It does.
That's crazy, man.
So before starting Lovers, when did you guys conceptualize the idea, and then who was like part of the conceptualization of Lovers then?
So right in 2020, we wanted to just throw a good R&B party. And this is right before COVID, I think. Because my son had graduated high school, and it was the next winter after he graduated, and DJ Lova, who's the other co-owner of Lovers, and founder of Lovers, which is like I went to high school together with, and we went to high school together, and we wanted to put something together that had like R&B vibes that, like we said, you weren't going to be able to hear in the club.
Right.
And so we were planning on doing that going right into, I think, 2020, like end of 2019 going into 2020. And then, we all get the text, the Rudy Gobert situation happens. World gets shut down. And, while we're in the house, you know what I mean? Like I'm listening to, I don't know if you guys know who D Nice is, and he was doing his Instagram sets.
Yep.
And he's like, he was rocking those things out. You know what I mean? And then through that time, we're just kind of conceptualizing where do we want to take this? What part of the city do we want to put this in? Right. Is there going to be a bar/restaurant owner that would allow us to activate the space for, 4 hours and let us take creative control? Mm-hmm. And, we went, pretty much like for that whole year and a half of COVID, we're pretty much, sending playlists back and forth. We're looking at different talent on Instagram, and I still do that to this day. It's just kind of like researching. I do a lot of researching.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just like, figuring out who's going to be the next, talent, that wants to come and try to bring their flavor to the city. So at the time, I was just researching, learning, and educating myself just on, different marketing ideas.
Yeah.
Different ways to bring the idea and tell the story of Lovers to make sure it was digestible for people to want to come out. So we did that pretty much just like a year and a half of research and development, and then I brought Enzo in as the creative director. My cousin Trey essentially was like the finance guy and the person that was like doing promotion at the time.
Yeah.
And we were just building partnerships throughout, that whole time in the house. We're just building out partnerships. And then I reached out to Spaz in between that time.
Yeah.
Saw that what she was doing, because she was doing I think Spaz at the time was doing photography. Which is
crazy.
crazy.
It's crazy because she didn't start doing stuff until COVID too.
Till after COVID,
Yeah.
she started DJing basically.
Yeah. She's a COVID DJ as well.
Yeah.
Just like Enzo, he ended up being a COVID DJ.
Yeah.
And we were all excited. We were all excited, and finally, we got the date locked in, because we knew the world was going to open back up. When they, I guess, for people who did get vaccinated or who didn't get vaccinated, we had like a launch date of, all right, right around May. I think we did our first party the week before Memorial Day in 2021, and we did a promo video, and we're getting our feet wet in the game. You know what I mean? And so it was like. It was pretty much a year and a half project, but it all worked its way out. And
Came
then
together.
Came together, and it was a team, kind of like what you guys are talking about.
Right.
It was a good team, and there was strategy behind that. Because being a team's great, but if you can be strategic and know when to hit at the right time,
Absolutely.
I believe in that. And so, and I think our whole team does. So at the time, our first event was Lava and Enzo were the two DJs. And we sold that thing out. And I think the whole those events all those events we did that summer, sell out. But as you guys know, as business owners and being creative, it's you're only as good as your last event or as your last drop.
Yes.
Each year we've gotten better. It might have been better strategically. It might because even this past year Lovers hadn't done we probably did 2 events this year for Lovers as far as real events. We did a Halloween, we did Pride. And that's when he and I really tapped in is at the what were you for Halloween?
Oh, I was fucking Luffy from One Piece. I was at your thing though, yeah.
Yeah, you were there. I remember that. And we slowed down on doing the events because this year was a year of just R&D again.
Yeah.
Because sound's changing. That's why the sound's changing. Music, that's why I said bringing it back to that whole Drake conversation. I feel like there was a sound for the past 4 or 5 years. And now with these COVID DJs and there's house being mixed into things.
Yeah. There's
R&B.
Everything's moving fast.
There's a lot of electronic music coming to Utah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of house DJs, tech. Sure. Like just a bunch of crazy stuff that's coming, and they have a bunch of events everywhere that you probably don't even know where it's at, and they have a whole crowd there, dude. It's actually crazy.
Yes, and it's starting to bubble, and that's why even with Spaz's sound, she continues to get better. A lot of DJs I've seen have gotten better, but it's the sound in general. I think globally is changing. It's like world music now.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like how you said you listen to K-pop. Even I heard you say what was was there an artist? Did you say a Thai artist that you were listening to, or no? Last on Spaz's episode,
Thai Boy Digital.
Yeah.
And see, there's all kind of dope music out here
for sure.
Right now. That it's with DJs. If and I'm not gonna give all the recipes away. I'm not giving all the recipes away. But if DJs have can read a room essentially, and they know how to do certain things when it comes to music. You can come play a Lover set. So that's why with Lover Sound Design, we started just doing invite only. We invite 40 people in. Do you understand the music?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So and it's all recorded.
I love that.
And it's small and it's more intimate.
Right.
So, now with my son with Midnight, see that's probably gonna be the big club Because their age group.
Yeah. They understand.
That's for my son's age group.
They're tapped in.
That 21 to probably 20. How old are you?
26.
Yeah, see, that's that 21 to 28.
Yeah.
And they have a certain thing they're trying to do. Like, they want to have a good time. They're trying to meet people.
Yes.
They're partying. They're having a good time. And see, like, that's what Midnight is like. That would be that youth division of Lovers. Then Love Language, essentially, which is underneath the umbrella of Lovers. And that's what Spaz and Enzo and myself and Trey and all of us created is that day party side of it where you can just go catch a vibe, listen to some music, and we activate like a new bar usually each year. So like with Lovers and Love Language, we've always prided ourselves on curating a new bar each year. And we did it. We did it every single year. And that's why we talked about like at his birthday party, we thought we were going to be able to do it at one place just to kind of open that door again. Because a lot of these conversations and these things that we're doing is you're kicking down the door for a community come to be able to show up and represent correctly.
Right.
Because, usually like we talk about, nightlife is usually going to be people that are drunk. There's going to be fights.
Right.
All kind of stuff can come with that.
Yes.
But I feel like with, the things that we have done as far as any event curator, and I'll just say for Lovers at this point, because I can speak for us, is we are able to activate a new spot each year and make that place continue to grow.
Yeah.
And that's behind our community doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be like places like Drift Lounge. See, like when we brought Sasha Marie out here for Love Language, see, that was activating Drift Lounge, and that was one of those things like they had never had an event in there with our community. But after that place has been like,
it's open doors.
It's the same thing for Varley, bro.
Now. Yeah,
when we did 3 events there, 2 events there, Varley has ran with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they now are popping. Like they do their own thing and everything. Like Bo don't even cut there anymore because like they just took what we did and ran with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's kind of how that goes. It's like, when you think about being able to get into spaces where you want to bring something to life, some people are going to be for it, some people aren't.
Right.
So that's why we'll continue to keep pushing the movement, continue to do bigger events, and probably really start really looking into how do we build out that next age group of lovers of the 29 to 45-year-olds, the people that have families.
And I love that you guys are thinking about stuff like this.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Right? So I love that you guys are, even with your son going crazy on the, what did you say, the midnight?
Midnight.
And that other younger division. I love all of those things because those are things that everyone should be doing in terms of curating.
Yes.
And creating sounds and energy. Right. That's the most important thing is the energy part. So
yes.
I love that you guys are doing the R&D and putting in the footwork to make sure you guys are always coming correct.
Yes, because that's a job to do that.
Yeah,
you got to try to come correct, and you got to be. I feel like being creative is like it's mentally tiring.
Yes,
trying to be creative and try to bring different things to the city because our city's an interesting city.
Yes, absolutely, man.
It's
you got a lot of
Absolutely.
different people in this like city for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's
a lot of different groups and a lot of different things that you can cater to and tap into. You just gotta, like you said, timing is everything, and just bringing it all together in a way that's cohesive and it all makes sense.
Yes,
strategically,
and because if you think about like we talked about Utah 10 years ago, even with the liquor laws, and even have you guys been down to the new like state and wine? It's like the state wine and liquor store.
Oh, the one right next to Mayor Voss?
Yes.
No, I haven't been.
Yeah, and it's
two-story one.
Yeah,
it's
the two-story one. Like
yeah.
that would have been. They'd have tried to burn that place down. Trying to bring that here. So Utah is progressively getting better.
Yeah,
and even with the restaurants that are coming out here, the concerts that are coming out here, the events that are coming out here.
Concerts have been crazy.
So I feel like Utah, we're headed in a good direction.
Yeah.
And we want to be a part of just kind of pushing Utah ahead and making sure people have access to dope things.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys are definitely doing
on
your
that right
part.
track.
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For
We talk about all the time how like the community in Utah is growing. Like everyone in here has lived in Utah for most of their whole lives.
Yes, absolutely.
And for us to be able to see what kind of opportunities are arising now through the community, like all the music stuff that we're hearing now, that wouldn't have been here 10 years ago.
No.
Yes.
It would have been a Kilby show
Right.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how we got to look at it. And Kilby, Kilby, thank God to them that
Fuck.
they gave opportunities for us to be able to listen to artists, because that was the only place that was allowing it. Like Soundwell back in the, or there were smaller places that were only having small events
Exactly.
for these amazing artists. And now there's so many event spaces that, you know, people want to come and perform in Utah.
It's like based around the artist now, which is what we want. Right?
Yes.
I mean,
We love that.
With that being said, do you have anything soon? Anything coming up, Dajon? You got anything planned?
No,
You told me September, but that's something we can talk about later.
Yeah, I think right now we're going to focus on love language. We have a good DJ we're getting ready to bring out in September. Huge DJ. That's a good regional DJ, but I mean he's a good global DJ as well. So Spaz, Enzo, and I, we're all working on that for the very last love language in September. And
last.
Then, well, I mean last meaning of the love language year.
Okay.
Love language calendar.
I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
oh, you guys just started that.
Yeah. And so outside of that, I think I'm going to I think I'm getting ready to activate something new here in the city.
Good.
That's more age appropriate, we'll say.
Please let us know.
But
man.
and so
We're
like
there.
I've been working on this one probably for a year. I was gonna try to do it last year. And like you said, like creators, we all have that, I guess you would say, sort of anxiousness or perfection or OCD quality about us, where it's like, well, do I do it? Do I not?
Yeah.
Is it the right time? And I was like, I think it's the right time.
Yeah.
So look out for something middle of September as well.
Good.
Okay.
Wow.
But grown vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So that's what you meant by
We love it. We love it, man.
Yeah, I know. Like when I say age appropriate, I'm talking about something that, you know, you definitely have to throw on. You know, whether it's whatever your vibe is, whatever you got nice in the closet, throw it on.
Some slacks you talking about?
You know, hey, if you can
That's
get
what you
that
got.
on,
Hey.
If
if
that's
that's what you got, throw it on.
Right.
You know, but
I mean,
you know, I want to see people throw a fit on and be able to relax. I don't, you know, right now we're trying to curate the wine drinkers in the lovers crowd.
Okay.
Y'all drink wine or no? No
I drink wine here and there.
What do you drink?
Well, I'm taking sobriety this year. I don't drink a lot anyways, but I'm practicing like not smoking hookah and doing all that stuff because I'm trying to focus on my health this year. So this year has been a big year for self.
Well, even if it's a mocktail and you pull up,
I'll pull up even if we're not. You know, I'm just there for.
come by.
I'm learning how to be outside without having the extracurriculars.
No, 100%,
Right?
because that's an art to knowing how to do that.
Yeah.
Oh God,
That's
Absolutely.
an art.
Yeah,
It is.
have fun
because
without.
even if I'm a Hennessy drinker,
Yep.
to the death of me, I will.
Yeah.
Let them know.
I
man.
will chug a whole bottle of Hennessy right when I pull up to a place just so I can kick it. But now I don't have to.
Yeah.
Now I can be at a place and be like, I think because of this platform, I'm more open to having the conversation with someone.
That's what I was going to ask you. So did this podcast help you
Yes.
with conversation?
Yes, it
Absolutely.
did. I've always been,
Absolutely.
I've always in a way been extroverted, but I count myself as introverted because I like being by myself, being at home whenever I can. But if you want to come hang out at my house, you come hang out at my house. I just didn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm still extroverted because this is a safe haven for everyone, for all of our friends and family that
100%.
It's a refugee camp here.
yeah, refugee, whatever, you know, it's a little everything, you know, but I can meet someone for the first time. And if they're too drunk to go home, sleep on my couch.
Yes.
I don't even have to know you. I just want you to be safe.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've always treated it like that. So I've always had that in me, but this platform opened that up
Definitely.
a lot more.
Yeah,
you know?
he's- ever since we started this, Tay and Amy, they never they were outside for like their friends, you know, like their friends they were close with. But ever since I joined, I'm like
For an hour max.
Yeah, hour.
Yeah.
But ever since I joined, like, hey, there's this shit going on. There's this shit going on. There's this shit going on. I'm asking you guys to show up for like an hour, meet some people, do your work, boom, and they do it.
No, that's what was
Yeah.
so cool at Love Language meeting both of you guys. Where like I saw you come to the door, I got a big smile on my face. I'm like, my man pulled up in here because I'm used to seeing you on the podcast. I hadn't met you yet, so when you pulled up, I was like, that's cool, man. Because I like to see new faces. You
Yeah.
know
Of
what I mean?
course, absolutely.
A lot of
It's
times,
always
you know,
nice, yeah.
people talk about Utah being cliquey, and that makes it a little bit hard sometimes to go places.
Yeah.
Where you're like, well, who am I going to talk to?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in here, and
Bro,
you know, trying to
be-
make that conversation.
I be pulling up solo to John a lot of things, bro.
no, that's what I love about him.
I be
Yeah.
pulling up solo, man. I'm a solo warrior, and I'm like, talking to you, and then you'll just see me post it for a second.
But that's how people do it in a real city. It's like, I don't need nobody in here. I'm getting ready to go hang out.
Yeah.
Like if and I always have to put my mind in certain places of like if I was in like say I lived in New York, right? Say I got to live in New York in a dope like say some part of Brooklyn. I get to live in New York, and say I didn't have that many friends out there. I would have to socially go put myself in situations to meet people, build those relationships, network. And sometimes that's not the easiest thing to go do.
No, not at all.
You know, it's tough.
Yeah. And that's why this has been beautiful for us. Like in the long run, the way I look at it, I've thought to myself my end goal with this is like, if it's not going to make us the money eventually, or get us to the point where we can financially be okay with doing this still, I'm happy enough that we were able to create a space and community behind it.
Absolutely.
Because now I don't need to rely on this as a platform to use to make money. I can go out and work with people and be able to do stuff. And I think the conversation now has been able to easier to start knowing that I have this behind me. I'm like, hey, I do this. Can we talk about something or do something like that? We were at an event for our culture this past weekend, Sabaidi Fest. It's a Southeast music festival, Southeast Asian music festival.
Where was that?
That was in Chino, California.
Yeah. Nice.
And so it was really crazy to see our culture being celebrated the way it was, because we throw a big New Year's. Like American New Year's is cool, but it doesn't do anything to what Loud New Year's, TLC New Year is.
Crazy.
We got to invite you out next year when we do it.
Oh, please.
We just opened up the biggest Buddhist temple in the United States, and it's here in Utah.
This is the biggest one.
This is
in
the
the
biggest.
United States.
Yes, in the United States.
No bullshit.
It's sanctioned as one of the biggest. That's why it's a government property sanctioned.
Oh my god! I
No,
didn't know
where is that?
It's in Magna.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's crazy because like 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, we wouldn't have even thought about it like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And us being at this event, it opened up my eyes to what we are capable of doing as a culture and for our people, but also using what we know outside of our culture and expanding on that, because we've been able to meet so many cool people on the podcast.
Yes.
Amazing people that come here and share their stories. And I'm like, man, it's so crazy to hear that you've had to go through that and you've become such an amazing person.
Yeah.
And I think it's been open up my eyes to be able to just go out there and stand out there and talk to people. So we met a big like celebrity in our community. And he's a Thai influencer, but he wasn't an influencer. He did YouTube.
Who he is.
Timothy De La Ghetto. He did Wild and Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you met him this weekend?
Yep.
I had him do a chef special segment, and I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for me being open to talking because of the podcast.
Absolutely.
Because he saw like Harrison was going to do it, but he didn't have the gear to do it.
I didn't have the gear.
And then she's like, I'm going to take a picture of him. And in that moment, I was like, all right, I'm going to take a picture. I'm just going to ignore it though, because I don't like talking to celebrities or people like that.
I don't like it either, but I get it. I don't wanna,
it's weird.
I don't wanna feel like
the
I'm
conversation's weird, right?
You,
Yeah.
But then I walked up, had the mic in my hand. I said, what up, brother? Like, we're big fans of what you've done and like how you've been able to help our community grow as far as being Asian American in the US, because without them being on YouTube where they're at, I don't think a lot of Asian creatives would have been okay with stepping out.
That's very true.
Right. Most of people still would try being a doctor or a lawyer or something, but they opened our eyes to like, you can do this.
Of whatever you want to do.
Yeah. And so if it wasn't for this podcast, I probably wouldn't have even asked him.
Yeah.
And that's being realistic.
Because you wouldn't have had a reason to ask him.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes sense. Because I think it's like, with having to try to talk to people whether it's a celebrity or somebody that's a stranger, and have that moment of even being able to connect on whatever it is, just being good at conversational skills.
Yeah.
It's a talent, and it's something that you have to work on every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
At being good at it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like that use it or lose it type thing.
It is.
Yes.
Like, you gotta keep practicing. You gotta keep talking to people. You gotta know how to talk to different people, because there's all walks of life that, some people are very open. Sometimes they're not. You got to crack people out of the shell and talk to them. So it's different.
That's my favorite thing though. When
Absolutely.
When you're able to meet somebody, and obviously people have guards up, but when you're able to like get down to earth with them and they're able to actually open those walls, it feels very good.
Yeah.
It just feels really good. Like, damn, you trust me enough to be yourself at this point.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and that takes that's a talent to be able to do that with people.
Yeah.
It's true.
It is incredible that to me that even anyone would even open up to someone like me or us,
Right.
Every Monday and Tuesday we have a guest that comes on here and they're like, they have to sit here with 3 strangers that they've never even met.
Yes.
For the most part, these people we've never even talked to, we're
it's
just
like our first
a lot of the
conversation.
time.
Yeah.
A lot of the
And-
times.
Yeah,
but-
because like pulling up to a podcast, so I know some people feel like they're a local celebrity in their own head,
Yeah.
but pulling up to a podcast and having to be on camera and have conversation like that can be like a sense of anxiousness.
Oh,
to some
absolutely.
degree.
And it shows the people that walk in, they're like, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
anxious.
Now, do they tell you that before they
Yeah.
come in?
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, you can tell.
Oh, I'd say the same thing every single time. Like, don't worry, 20 minutes will
Give
go
it
by
10
and you'll
minutes,
feel
we'll
like the
talk.
cameras are not even on and you're just having a conversation.
Yeah, I felt like that right when we got in here. I didn't take no 20 minutes with us. It felt like, hey, this
and
is
some,
And
like
sometimes it
family.
happens.
Like that.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it happens like that.
Yeah.
But usually,
Gives about 10, 15 minutes.
20 minutes into the episodes, the hour's already gone, and they're like, "Wow, like I didn't even realize this."
yeah, that time flew,
We've
and
been
we had a
talking
good
this long.
conversation.
Yes,
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
even right now, like I can tell you right now, leaving here today, I got to learn, I got to connect,
yes,
and I got to build, and that's valuable to me.
Yes.
Because like some people, time is money. I get that, and people need to monetize, and I understand that, but building relationships with good people that are genuine to me,
Yes.
like I'll always respect that. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
respect the time that y'all gave me to even come on here.
absolutely, man.
You know what
And
I
we'll
mean?
always make time for ourselves too. We have to.
Yeah.
We love hearing the stories. We love talking to people.
Yeah.
We love just hearing everyone's journey because everyone's journey is a little bit different. It's all similar, but all different at the same time. We're all shooting for the same things.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
basically.
And we all have different ways of getting to that point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's very second nature for us as, immigrants, or as family that comes from immigrants, people of color, that
Yeah.
it's so much easier to connect with people having the background we do.
Yes.
And
100%.
I think we've been able to utilize what we've gone through, our stories, our tribulations, all that stuff. And it goes to the next person. It's like they've actually gone through something like that. And that's why it's been, I think us just sitting here and having conversation is just the same thing as having a conversation I've had with someone last week, or like a brother or a sister, someone like that.
absolutely. If all I ever
Family.
got from this podcast was just good conversation, I would be happy.
Yeah.
I'm content.
Yeah.
I'm content with just talking to good guys like you and just
Yeah.
having conversation, and just learning new things and different
Well,
ways of how to do shit.
You know what's interesting though too is like being able to walk in a room where, see, like when I walked in the house, Harrison comes out, he's barefoot, and I'm like, "Oh, what's up, P?"
Dogs are out. Our dogs are out.
And I'm like, "What's up, P?" You know what I mean? And he walks me through the house, and I'm thinking when he opened the door, he getting ready to take me down the steps to the studio. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to go downstairs and do a studio. And then I come around, I come down the hall, turn the corner, and I walk in. And just from this is where we talk about design. and I told you guys this off camera, but it felt like I knew you guys before we even got started.
Going crazy, man.
No, seriously, I'm like, because like for us, whether it's black, it's Asian, whatever, walking in like me growing up, being the only black kid in the class, and having to say my name, and people like you say stand up and introduce yourself and tell us what you like. And, I don't know if they would do that at your guys' school, but we've all been through that somewhere.
Yes.
And, you say Dajon, and, the girl turns around and she looks. And the teacher's like, so it's like mustard, right? And you're like,
Hell no. He's all mustard.
So, yeah. So I've heard that my whole life. And, you got to figure, even walking into some houses, depending on what the situation is and who the people are, they're like, so Dajon? Yeah, that's my name. So being able to walk into a space where you walk and you can go, oh, I can be myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh,
I'm happy to hear that because when we curated the room, when we were like coming up with how we got to do this, I told her all this stuff and she's like, are you sure you want to do it like that? I'm like, no, I feel like this is like this up here is my personality when it comes to
Yes.
music, like
100%.
it's very extensive, there's a lot of things I love Tyler, I love the Kids See Goes, I love the artwork for everything that's up
Yes.
there,
100.
even if it goes from the old school Japanese stuff, like that's me. And so when people walk into the room, they're like, wow, these guys are like they're just normal people.
We're just regular guys.
We're just regular guys.
Yeah.
It's like we love music, we love art, we love everything.
Yeah. Like that's why I said like coming in here, because I didn't know it looked like this. Because you can always see the backdrop.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what the studio truly looked like.
Everyone always says that, and I'm so proud of it.
This place
feels
is
so
dope.
good.
This is fire. You know what I mean?
It worked out.
I love it.
I'll show you what our old space looked like, and you'll be like, "This was a den." They were trying to like bring people in and like sacrifice them. But I knew right when we were starting to get guests on, we had to change it up. There had to be changes made so that people walked into the home, felt comfortable, like even from the point, like
just felt welcome.
From the first guest, like I was cooking meals and stuff, and I always asked them what they wanted to eat or anything. Most people say no, they just don't want to. They just don't want to go to someone's house and just eat like that.
Yeah.
And then also bringing them to a room that made them feel safe, and like the colors, like all the colors were picked specifically to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, so you had to research.
We did research. Like we had to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that goes into strategizing and execution, right? Like what you were talking about. We had to think about stuff like that when we made all the changes to this room. Like this little carpet, it's actually from our home country. It's from Laos. And so when people walk in, they're like, "Oh, what is this?" And we get to explain to them a part of us. That's like a conversation starter. It's like, that's a part of us. This is who we are. Yeah. We're Southeast Asian men, and that's what we want to represent in a whole.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, and even with who did the off the menu?
So we went through Jungie, but he was in Seattle at the time. So Jungie 2K, he does rugs when he's out here.
Yeah.
But during the summertime, he's out in Seattle working.
Yeah.
So he had his friend do this for us.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's what I said. Like this whole vibe, man. I'm like, it even inspires me to go back. And really put that type of energy into the next Lovers event, because spaces, like the spaces have to feel comfortable where you go, all right, I can relax for a bit, I can chill. You know what I mean? That. Like I can sit back and I can just be me, and this room represents that fully.
Thank you, man.
Fully.
Thank you. We love to hear that because
it's so crazy because people like when we first started, people would come over like, I think I'm at the right place, not realizing it's a home,
Yeah.
And we walk them through. They come in and like, oh shit, this studio is dope. You know, like this shit's cool.
We always hear it. And it makes me feel so good.
No, I love that. Like even the painting on the wall back there, I'm like, this is where it is. Because sometimes when you think about interior design, if somebody really is good at interior design, you can almost feel like you know the person by just the design.
Yeah, the things look.
You know what I mean? You don't even have to see it. It's like almost like there's some kind of connection there,
right?
And you don't even have to see the person, but it's like, okay, like this was something that was brought to life, and you were almost inside their mind by how they designed it. So, because Feist, when Feist first opened, with the wood floors and how it's almost like an art studio, and you look at some of even I was in Feist the other day, and you're just looking at the art on the wall, and it makes you feel a certain way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's they did a good job with interior design there. So I love seeing people, even people of color like us, all of us are doing dope stuff. Because I would have never known by just looking, watching the podcast, which I've watched multiple episodes.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. But I would have not even know it's this dope in here, man. This is a vibe.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah, you might have an artist try to come in here and cut a record.
we used to do a segment here where it's called Sunday Sounds.
Sunday Sounds.
And so we'd have a musician, if they came and did a podcast, I got this mic stand so they can come and perform a song.
Yeah.
And we would post it on Instagram on Sundays.
We've done it a few times.
We've done it a few times. And I'm like, we would love to go back to that.
Honestly.
So let me ask you guys this. So if there was, I like to get a feel for all different kind of things. If there was an event that was more live, I guess it was a live event where it was an artist playing certain music.
Okay.
Would you be more into that, or would you be more into like a DJ?
So it depends on. It really just depends, because DJs, you get a story told. Through different
music,
types of music,
through sound, right?
Different types of music, but then through a specific artist, you go through their sound and go through their stories, right? So music is a very niche thing. So when you go into music, you have to be able to, when Patterson comes and says, you guys should check this guy out or check this new music out. I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out because I love music.
Right.
But then if the music doesn't stick, it just goes away, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard for me. It's pretty hard now for music to really stick with me, because I've, just been listening to music my whole life. Like I'd rather just still go listen to what my mom and dad would listen to. Like I'll go listen to New Short or Too Short. That's my dad's favorite artist. So I'd go back and listen to Too Short every so often and just be like, listen to The Ghetto because that reminds me of our story growing up. Or then when my mom, like, she listened to Stevie B or New Wave and stuff like that, and I would go back and listen to that, and it just takes me back to. I think music for me has to either be really, really, like, it has to really stick, or it has to be really nostalgic for me to really love it.
Yeah, and see that's what I would think. Like when it comes to live instrumentation, if it's nostalgic enough, I can sit down and I can lock into that because there's been certain artists, like local artists, where say I go to like a local artist event, maybe the music's too loud, it's blaring too much.
Yep.
A lot of random people moving around. It's too dark in the room, so it's hard to take it in.
It's hard to digest a lot of these things
because it's more things happening than just the music in reality.
Right. And so the nostalgia of the event, if it was like something live, has to be right. It has to be put together correctly.
100%.
And that's where I feel like with like Lovers, we're moving in that direction as well as tapping in with artists. I'm not talking about like just rappers or singers, but I'm talking about actual like instrumentalists. That can play an instrument
And I love that too because I love jazz.
Yes.
So if doesn't have to be a lyric to it. If I just had to listen to some jazz music and instrumentals like that, I would definitely
live
show up to
jazz
that.
Is fire.
Yeah,
live jazz, sax,
my appreciation for like
you see what I'm saying? Like something where once again like it might be a jazz sound. We're gonna be outside. There's maybe 150 some wine, 150, 200 tickets, and we're just gonna listen to something that's relaxing.
Yes,
we're gonna vibe out and some people. Here's the thing: that's like a niche crowd as well.
Yep,
that would want to hear that. I don't like for the masses. And I had a conversation with the DJ about the masses and doing an event at a certain club, and I was like, people have to understand. The Lovers crowd is a curated crowd. I'm like the masses. Like having 500 people in there that don't know what's going on. I don't want that.
Yes.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why it's like to be able to meet y'all and you have these artists on here and even having 50 Cent Get Rich Trying. I think that was just on the wall. I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. It's like people that know music.
Yeah.
And and it's a part of your story. See, a lot of people. And I'm not going to say any colors, but a lot of people don't understand music tells a story in life.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
you can always attach that sound, that song to a certain time in your life.
And how it made you feel.
And how it made you feel.
Exactly.
Or what was going on around you.
Yeah.
That's why music is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Music. DJ said specifically for me, I'm like, God damn, I love DJs, like especially Bose, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I could always I attach.
But he tells a story.
It's a story. And you can also attach yourself to that in some way because you're just your own experience with that.
What it reminds you of.
I remember, what was it? We went to Lovers. We ran into Alonzo, and they were like, they walked up to Bo and like, bro, when you play Paperboy and Diddy? And then they were like, man, ain't nobody play that shit anywhere we go.
And I'm like, he...
Bo has deep cuts, bro.
Bo has the deep cuts.
Yes,
he plays. He played a Dog Pound record from when I was growing up, where I'm like, see, this is the only person that would be able to get this off and understand what that meant. To be able to play this. Like,
and Bo does that a lot and very fucking well.
Yeah,
very well.
He gets
very
deep
well.
cuts, bro.
It's so deep.
So,
and it's crazy because this is stuff I grew up with too.
That's the stuff that he grew up with in California. Yeah,
so that's why it's like cool to see where he's at because everyone is seeing it and they're like, wow, man, this is amazing that you were able to do that. But I grew up with him.
Yes.
We grew up in the same family, so all the music comes from the same place.
Exactly.
Right.
And so every time someone says, I'm like, man, that's like my mom's bumping that right now.
Right.
And then it's so crazy to hear that there is generations to the music and how like it carries. So, and he's been able to carry old stuff into the new stuff and be able to mix it to it.
And it goes together.
Yeah.
So
Perfectly.
good.
Perfectly.
So good.
And that's why I think, when I hear Bo play, it's representative of a certain time, but also he's been able to blend and clash it together where it just comes together seamlessly.
So good.
And not a lot of DJs here can do that. And the other thing is like some of the music that he does play. If there were a bar or a club, we'll just say in the early 2000s, with the music that he plays, people would tear the club up.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
because
they would eat that shit up for
they'd
sure.
they'd eat it up. But then you would have the bar owner who would say, "No, you guys can't come back here anymore."
Right.
So that's why
Yeah.
like you
get what you're saying, yeah.
you see
There has to be a
what I'm saying?
balance. The
well,
people want the people that run the places think there has to be a balance, but when there doesn't.
But that's why when you talk about home runners, lovers, these are people that are breaking the ground for this to be allowed in these spaces.
Absolutely.
And that had to happen. That's why even when Concise, which is my guy, like him, nasty. He's even nasty as far as the DJ.
Yeah,
oh
And-
my God. He
and
goes so crazy.
So hard. And that's why I like, for me, I'm like, when can we get DJs that do that? And so when that first summer that we started Lovers, we had because they're the Laker girls together,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and so we
Heroes,
had them close out our very that was almost like a dream for me though, man.
Yeah.
It's putting both of them on because I'm like,
Oh,
I want to
man.
hear what that sounds like.
Those
and
foods together go
crazy.
crazier.
go crazy.
So crazy.
It's some backyard shit too.
It
because,
is, bro.
that's
It
some-
is some
you
back-
pull up,
yeah,
you pull
bro.
up to the house right now. Both probably just spinning
Both
in his
doing the same
backyard.
shit right
Yeah.
now.
You know,
Yeah.
and then when Concise is here, when he was here, they were always just together in the backyard. So
Yeah.
I got lucky that I grew up with them, so I got to see it firsthand.
You got to
Yeah.
see it like
Yeah,
right when it popped off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 16 years old in the basement smoking hookah, watching him just, go at it for hours.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop. He'll go at it for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, this is amazing, like what he can do, because I could never do it. I love music, but there's no way I can. His sound is just so distinct to him
Yes.
that you cannot replicate what he's doing.
No, you
love
can't
it.
replicate it, and that's
No
where
way.
like Spaz. I feel like anybody that gets put on as a lovers DJ in Salt Lake City, you're gonna have your own unique sound. And like my cousin Brandon, who got into the DJ game during COVID, the chef, and he was a COVID DJ essentially, but he has his own unique sound.
Right.
And Spaz has her own unique sound. Enzo has his own unique sound.
Yeah.
To where I feel like if we were to do a true lover show with the three of them, say if I had Spaz, I had the chef, and I had Enzo, they'll knock that thing out.
Yeah.
100%. I'm fully confident in that. Fully confident. Not to say we'd have like a DJ battle war with anybody,
Right.
but it's like where you're confident in your team.
Yeah.
So it's like if I drive to the rim, okay, we're going basketball concepts. If I hit that rim and I kick out to that corner three, he gonna strap that.
Yeah.
He gonna knock it down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I believe in my team.
Yeah.
I'll say
I
that.
believe in your team too, though, because of what
Absolutely.
you guys have been able to do for the last few years.
You guys are
And,
going
like,
dummy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are
Thank
going
you.
so crazy.
And I think it's just, I appreciate it more now that I'm slowly starting to meet you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to understand more what you guys are doing and what
Right.
Lovers actually means.
Yeah.
It's not just a brand.
Yeah.
This is a whole entire team of community building and expanding knowledge to everyone else.
Yeah.
Yes, IQ raising. It's like,
Yeah.
and that's what has to happen. It's like, when you think about the novelty of being able to have people that understand community, music, and like I said, networking. Because that's why I asked you guys earlier. Like, there's probably a kid that's maybe 15, 16, 17 years old that will hear this story and be like, I want to do what they're doing.
Right.
Or how do I get on?
Yeah.
Because even who's somebody I watched that was a kid that I had never known it's Mo. What's his
Motivation.
motivation?
Monday motivation.
And he grinds hard
He's
too.
a hustler.
Man.
Yeah, he's a
out there.
hustler. And so when you see people that it's like they have a dream and it's an entrepreneurial dream.
Yes.
And to be able to connect with all these different people, like even like yourselves, that can inspire a dream. Because that's what I would ask anybody is, who do you inspire at the end of the day?
Right.
Or are you doing it all for yourself? And do you feel like you guys inspire people?
Absolutely.
Every day,
100%.
I think
It's a humbling thing.
it is very humbling.
That's why we started
it's-
all this.
I don't
in
know how
the
to.
first place.
I don't know how to say it in the sense of like my intentions were to walk a path where somebody could follow.
Yes.
In a sense of like not my exact steps, but it's like at his end game, I see myself in a similar way.
I have kids. We have kids. Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for something. I'm paving the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
Building legacy.
We're
Yeah.
building a legacy.
Exactly.
We're making the way.
Yeah.
For these guys to come out and
Yeah.
do whatever. For my son Mikey to just whatever he wants to do, I know I can get you there.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you need, we can get you there, no problem.
Yes.
100%.
You know, there's nothing we can't do.
Right.
Right.
And that's the beautiful part about like him seeing his dad be an entrepreneur and is knocking those doors down.
Exactly.
Because when he goes into the game, whatever it is, maybe he wants to go to college, maybe he wants to play sports, maybe he wants to be a designer. You'll know those avenues.
Yeah, like we got you.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want, and we'll put you there.
And it's one of those things where like we're all first generation. Like we're the first of our people in this country to like do something like this for us. You know,
Right.
So it's one of those things.
That's what makes it even better, though.
Crazy, right?
Like people have done it before us. Don't get me wrong, and they've been here. Like Tim, once again, is a huge example for us. But like we're first of our family, our legacy,
first generation.
The generation before us were
they have no idea what the hell this is. I try to tell my mom
lines.
like what's going on and what's happening, and she's just like, "Where's the money?" And I'm like, "That like Mom, I get it.
That'll
like
come.
I get it. That money will
It's
come.
like, where's the currency?
But just trust me. Just trust me, because my parents don't know what is going on.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, "What are you doing?" The easiest way I can explain to her, I'm hosting a TV show.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way for me to explain it to her.
It's true, man.
Has she watched any of your episodes?
They don't watch nothing. They don't.
Right.
I show my dad. My dad's really appreciative. My mom has a hard time understanding.
Yeah.
Like I showed my mom the Spidey Fest vlog and all that stuff.
Yeah.
She watched it, shrugged it off. You know, she's just kind of just like,
Yeah, she went back to doing what she was doing.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Makes sense though.
And it's not. And I don't take no disrespect to it whatsoever.
at
She
all.
just doesn't know. You know? She doesn't get
we
it.
grew up different.
Yeah.
Come on, they grew up
Working a 9 to 5, 2 jobs.
to provide for us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Working on these lines
Yeah.
day and night. You know, get off till 2 a.m. in the morning or whatever the fuck it is.
Yep.
We can't expect them to
They didn't
know
have
this.
this
You can't
opportunity,
expect
whatever.
them, of course, they're going to realize it more when there is money there. Right? They're gonna, okay, you actually doing something
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
Right? And it's not until then that they'll be like, okay, we're proud of you, son.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And no, 100%.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying.
And-
Like that's all it is. Like I'll make it make sense for you at the end of the day.
Right.
And for me, it was different because my mom's only 16 years older than me. She had me when she was 16.
Right.
So, you know, we don't have that much of an age gap compared to a lot of children and their parents.
Very true.
But because of us only being 16 years apart, she actually watches every single episode of the podcast.
There you go,
She watches.
That's cool.
She comments.
It's different.
She actually talks to us in person. Like she goes, "Oh wow, that guest was cool. Like it's crazy. Like she loves hearing the stories." And this is also like she worked 16-hour shifts, and my dad worked 16-hour shifts back when we lived in Oregon.
Yeah.
And so their mindset was go to school, do this, do that.
Yeah.
And it really took me doing something like this because they didn't believe in the clothing brand stuff.
Yeah.
They really didn't. They're like, you're not going to make money doing clothing. I'm like, I'm not trying to make money. My only outlet in life is to be creative, and money will follow whenever it does, and if it ever does, right?
Yeah.
And then when they started doing the podcast, they're like, wow, you're actually doing something, because they see the guests come on and they appreciate that I can actually sit here with people, and we can sit here with people and have a conversation with someone and meet different walks of life, because that's something they couldn't do back when they were growing up because of
All
how
of this
Utah
is,
was set up.
Exactly. All of this is like uncharted territory. They don't even know.
Yeah, they don't know what this shit is. Yeah. A podcast wasn't a thing
It's
until
like,
the closest thing was a radio show, like a radio
Yes.
show host. Yeah, that's the closest thing. But you're not
Like-
seeing
like
faces. You're just hearing it.
MTV,
Yeah, you're just hearing that shit on the.
This is all new to us. This is new to them.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, my grandma, all them, they're happy I got a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, they're happy on 9 to 5. All my
exactly.
kids are
You
fed,
took care of
they're
your
healthy,
kids. Yeah.
they're cool.
Yeah.
You know, this is all extra shit. This is all
Right. Yeah. This
extra-
is just like the icing on the cake type
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
you know,
for sure.
so man, it's crazy.
And that's
It's
what I'll
crazy.
tell you, even like with my son, him being 23 years old, and him watching me having to go through this entrepreneurial journey of, networking and meeting people, and him even launching Midnight, which was just a creative thing in his head, which he wanted to do.
Right.
I'm glad that he got to see all of the groundwork that had to be laid previous to him even launching
Right.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Because Midnight didn't come until probably a year after Lovers. And then he threw a huge event on his birthday
Flankers, huh?
at Flanker. And he did a really good job from the marketing, the directing of the event, building out the guest list.
I love that, bro.
Yeah, and I was like,
I can't wait to be there, bro.
Yeah, I was
can't
like,
wait.
Jalen, you did your thing
was
on that.
turned.
I
He
was
was turned.
proud of my
so
son.
dope,
So that's why even with your child, and even when you have kids, like the fact that you guys have the knowledge,
Yeah.
and you went over the hill,
100%.
you can hand all that information down to them. and it keeps the ground running.
And they'll take it in their own way. They're going to run.
They're gonna
run with it.
They're going to do something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Man.
100%, man.
Shit. I mean, with that
I'm
being
excited,
said,
man.
man, we're pretty close, huh, to the end.
We really got our pod on today.
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
We an hour 45 in, and we like, man, I don't even want to be done, man.
Yeah.
Man.
There's
that
still
was
a
good.
lot to talk about, though. There's
so much.
I feel like there was he did like he said
did.
he's
He
good.
said
I'm here to interview you guys too.
Yeah, man, I like
And
to
I love
learn.
it. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
No, I
of
like
course.
to
A
learn,
lot of
man,
guests do that,
and I thank you guys for having me on here.
Yeah.
Once again, shouting out Juneteenth. I do want to just basically shout out a couple creators in the space that are African Americans.
Yeah.
So I want to start out with Lovers, our team,
Going crazy.
Young OG Perspective,
Please,
John
going
Stan,
crazy.
Yep.
Simon.
Yes.
He's killing it. Manson, Manson.
Going
He was
crazy.
on here.
He was on
Yeah.
here.
He was on here,
Yep.
but he was the leader of a lot of the stuff that's
Yes.
going on as
Yeah,
well.
he was.
Nikki Walker. Any people that I forget, I love y'all. We have a brand called Lovers. It's about the love of the community.
Yeah.
So I don't know who Iggy Amore.
Yes.
he's
man.
he's another
Going
one that
crazy.
like a good person.
Yeah.
Phil Petty. The whole Soul Bayame team.
Yeah.
Just happy Juneteenth to all of y'all.
Yes.
Let's continue to work together, all of us,
Please.
and let's
Of course,
continue to
please.
do great things.
We got
Yes.
one last segment.
We're going crazy, man.
It's called the Chef Special, Dajon.
Talk to me.
So free game to our viewers, or something you just be cooking up in the kitchen, or both.
Free game
Anything.
as far as life,
Free
or
game.
Yeah, just free game to
Anything you
viewers.
want.
What do you live by? What's something that you?
what's some free game that I would give, or as far as like what I like to cook up in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
either
Anything.
or both.
Right now I'm trying to turn my dad. My dad's a grill master.
Okay.
My dad's a grill master.
Yeah.
And I'm getting there. I'm
Yeah.
getting there.
Okay.
I was on the grill on Father's Day,
There you
and I did a little bit of teriyaki chicken. I'm trying to eat healthy.
Let's go, man.
You know what I mean? So I grilled the
Congrats, yeah.
chicken. I cleaned the thighs. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all know about cleaning the fat off
Yeah.
the
Of course,
thighs.
yeah.
Of course.
And I did like some teriyaki barbecue chicken, did some asparagus. But I like to get on that grill. That's a
Yes.
real decompress for me.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So, and then free game, if I was going to give anybody free game, make sure anything that you do, you're trying to inspire and help somebody out. Don't be selfish,
Absolutely.
man. And show love. That's what I would say.
Please.
We would love, show love, man. Makes sense,
Absolutely,
bro.
man. I gotta say, man, I have a thing for acronyms.
Yeah.
This lovers, I fucking love this shit, man. I love the way these 4 letters look together.
Yeah.
Keep going, man.
I appreciate
Keep going.
you.
guys
Thank
can
you.
go far, brother.
Thank you.
We
Yeah, we
love
gonna
we
make
love
it.
seeing shit. We
This
love seeing
was
other creators.
I felt like it was like a spiritual podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got to connect, and
Yeah.
I thank you guys, and it's
Of
like
course.
now I kind of feel like we family now.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are.
we
are.
we got to
We
definitely
cooking here.
lock
We're gonna
in.
let you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, we
Lock
got to
in, man.
definitely lock in and do something together. Whenever
we can
y'all
get
are
that.
ready,
Off the
whatever
net.
y'all need,
OTM
our
lovers,
help.
baby.
Yeah,
OTM lovers.
just let me know, because I mean this.
Off the love coming soon.
Off
yeah,
the love.
yeah, let's go. Let's put it together. See, he cooked that off the spot.
Off the love.
Yes. Come on,
man.
come on. Yeah.
I already
gonna
have
go
the design
crazy.
for the hat.
This gonna-
I already have the design in my head. I was looking at the hat the whole
That
time,
probably sounds so fire.
and I was like, I know what to do now.
Yeah. So let's make
Yeah.
it happen. Thank
Man,
you guys.
keep
No.
doing what you guys are
John.
doing, man. Please
Thank
let us
you,
know
brother.
anything
you.
that's going on, anything you guys are doing. Please let us know. We're there.
Yeah,
Yes.
for
Here.
sure.
All
Thank
day
you
with it.
again.
In there
Thank
like
you.
swimwear. In there like skincare.
Please, man. Well, off the menu, episode 89. Going crazy, man. Lovers
Hello.
SLC, off the menu,
Yes,
off the
sir.
love, bro.
Play excellent. Play
Come
beautiful.
on,
And play
man.
proper.
Everything will be in
Stupid.
the description below. You want to get connected to Dajon or any of the lover stuff.
Yes.
Make sure you guys follow through, follow up, because
Tap
there's
in
a
with
lot
the
of
team.
stuff going on in the
You
city
gonna
right now.
shoot-
Make sure you guys
tap
want to
in.
make sure you guys are a part of it, because the city's growing. Don't miss
yeah.
out.
And you're going
Don't
to see
miss
some
out.
familiar faces.
Absolutely, man.
Harrison.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to see my face.
Thank you
anyway.
guys for tuning in. Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you
love
guys.
you guys.
Oh, we did it.